Org to learn more.
Join the movement. Listen to the Tory Lowe Show on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, the locally owned Good Karma brand station. The place for the realest conversations.
I appreciate United Garden Homes for stopping through with a check for $2,000.
Yes.
Some people came through anonymously.
Yes.
Dropped off money. The family has received those funds. And whatever you can do, if everybody do a little, nobody has to do a lot.
The movement continues.
What are some of the conditions in the jail that got people upset, like the living conditions on a day-to-day basis?
We'll come out of our cell at 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll get food and we'll get medication. So that shortens the time. Out of those 2 hours, we'll probably get an hour out, and then we'll have to lock back down. And by lock back down, I mean we stay in our cell. We get fed in our cell. We don't come out of our cell at all, and that's pretty much the biggest problem. And they simply say that they're short-staffed, but that's not enough because they knew that they were going to be short-staffed. Like, this has been a problem for over 2 years now.
The marathon continues.
There's never been a better time to make change in the city of Milwaukee, starting with the youth. And we talked about the housing. Willie Hines, y'all boy Willie Hines, and they trying to change the leadership over there. We got our hands full, and it's not the time. But we got attorney B. Ivy Lamar on the lines right now, calling from the courthouse. How you doing, attorney B. Ivy Lamar?
Hey, what's going on, Tory? I'm good, man. Happy to be here.
Joining me on the line, Dr. Umar Johnson. How you doing, brother, Dr. Umar Johnson?
Peace and Pan-Africanism, good brother Black Power to all my brothers and sisters in Milwaukee, Kenosha, Green Bay, Racine, and across the state of Wisconsin.
Yo, peace, King. I'm going to stand with you and walk with you, brother.
God bless you.
Because I think it's an important thing, what you're doing, and you need to have the support of the community. Regardless if we live in these areas or not, it all affects us in one way or shape or form.
It's time for that action and all the smoke. This is the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association award-winning Tory Lowe Show on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube.
Man, best show in the world, bro. You got the best show in the world. Hope you know that, man.
God bless you, brother. I appreciate that.
Big up to you both. Thank you so much. Tory, you spoke to my kids. Liz, you did too. But you spoke to my kids, and when I tell you both that they was talking about what we did earlier that morning all day, that's literally what they was doing. They was talking about it all day. My son was just hollering,
Awesome.
where's Tory? Like,
I wanted to make sure that I let you know that to hear a person and have a person like you in this community, the way that you are selfless, the way that you give, even when your cup is not even full, you are filling other people's cup. And that just inspires me to make sure that I help you the best way that I can by doing my part.
As always, my good brother, stay cool, stay calm, stay focused.
Now, live from the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is the king of talk radio, Tory Lowe.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth, the most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM, the movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tory Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tory Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready. 101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe. Tory Lowe Show live from American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. And I'm here for the action.
And but that action.
And I want all the smoke.
Who wants the smoke today?
Salute to all my brothers and sisters on the front lines. The marathon continues.
The movement continues.
How you doing, DJ Brother Z?
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God. And how y'all doing out there in Radio Land? Truth Nation. Thank you for joining me this September 19, 2025. We got another
powerful conversation for you today. So I'm going to need y'all to open up your ears, okay? Salute to everybody joining the show in the chat. Salute to everybody out there in radio land. Hey, look, we got another powerful conversation for y'all today. And I think yesterday we had a great conversation about is there a plan for us to be safe? And salute to everybody in the chat. Kawanda, Jeff, Josh, S.E., Lori, I see you. Hey, Minister Kevin in the chat. I'm going to say this. You know, after we came to the conclusion yesterday, no matter how we felt about what needs to happen, the one thing we all can agree on is that it ain't really a plan, you know. We ain't, experiencing the plan, or we don't have a clue of what's going on. We just kind of winging it when it comes to the ideal of public safety. I guess it just sounds like a bunch of commotion, but ain't really no action going on. So I think we all came to that conclusion yesterday, pretty much. So how do we move forward? And so I the show yesterday said, I'm about to call the Trump administration to see what's going on with them troops. I'm about to call the Trump administration to see what's going on with them troops. I haven't called yet. I haven't called them yet, DJ Brother Z, but I had to think about it. Okay, what is the next steps? Because right when I got out the show yesterday, a woman had stopped me, and she said she's afraid. Tory, I'm not gonna play with you. I'm afraid. I said, why are you afraid? She said, with people dying in these car accidents, and then police chasing. Just Tuesday, we heard that some people lost their life due to a police chase, and just all of this uncertainty going on in the community. She was just kind of piling it up on me, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna try to do what we can. I've always tried to do what I could. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I know some people out there that are trying, and we are all trying to make some sense out of this current situation that we're in. We are trying to say, okay, we know, I think everybody that called in kind of gave an idea. At least they had an idea of what could happen, or a plan of what could happen. And everybody kind of got some suggestions, but that's over your pay grade. Like, you don't get paid. They may not even listen to nothing that you're talking about. The only person that's going to listen to what you're talking about is Tory Lowe. Because I let y'all call in, and I let y'all express yourself on the air. I let y'all call in, and no matter what perception you have, I'll allow for you to speak from that perception. And thank God that, lately ain't nobody been talking out the side of their face. Ain't nobody called in talking out the side of their face. I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I think that when you come to the conclusion that the leadership don't really have the answers, it's two things you can do. Stay in the house, or get somebody that know what to do in front. And that comes with your voting. That comes with you. You can only go as far as the person you allow in the front. And a lot of y'all deflect back down to the easiest victim in some of these conversations, and that's somebody that look like you, the parents. Why don't the parents do this? Why don't the parents do that? And then they don't understand that when the parents did try to discipline the kids, 2 white ladies and 5 police officers showed up at their house talking about you can't put your hands on your kids, or you can't discipline your kids in a certain way. And I remember when I started going after to try to help some of these women get their kids back, and I'm not talking about the real neglect. I'm not talking about women who really neglected their kids. I'm talking about where they was trying to, keep their kids in line, and then all of a sudden they went to school, and with all of the mandatory reporting that got to go on, and the kids went in there and said that they got spanked and they was looking for red marks, and all of that started to make parents fall back a little bit. I'm at work and now I got child protective service charges, neglect charges on me. So they made sure that you're not able to, the system that's in play made sure that a lot of parents had to keep their head on a swivel when they held that belt in their hand. You know, when they was ready to try to discipline their child. And then a lot of people was like, oh, you can't even whoop your child. And the Bible say, spare the rod, you sport a child. So it was so much in the last decade or so where parents couldn't really discipline their kids the way they really truly wanted to. You know, like how we got it. Like I think we was in the last generation of what I'm getting up there. So I was around. I was around when they was actually letting people get a few slaps on the derriere, like with the belt. I remember if my grandma was alive now, she'd CPS would get her. You feel me? Because she had me go in the backyard and get the switch. She had me go in the backyard and pull the switch out. We had to get our own switch. And she came from Mississippi, and they started saying that was the slave. They got that from slavery. Yeah, they got that from slavery. Like, so a lot of people pulled back on the discipline due to the aggression. They said, it was a lot of questionable conversation about how to discipline the kids, and you can't do this and you can't do that. So now they coming back, circling back around, pointing the finger like you ain't keeping your kid in line. Y'all, we need y'all to do this and that. But these the same people that told the kids that you got power, and if your parents did something to you, tell the teacher, and the teacher gonna tell the police. That's all I'm saying. So in this day and age, we have this new generation, this technical generation, the iPad baby generation, they got more rights than the parents. But now they out of control because they ain't got the discipline. Now they trying to point the finger at the parent, the same parent you told not to do nothing. Okay, see what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying, Truth Nation, but they quick to point the finger at the parent after they tied their hands. Literally. It was a case with a father. I'm not going to say no names because these cases are super ultra sensitive. But it was a father. The daughter was acting bad in school. The teacher called the father, and they put the battery in the father back. The teacher, oh, your kid is just out of control. I just don't know what to do with the kid. The baby just don't sit it. So the dad, he working, he like, okay, I'm gonna do something about it. And it's almost like they set him up. Because they put the battery in his back to discipline the baby, and then he smacked her on the butt with his hand, He only used his hand. He gave her like one of those old-fashioned over-the-knee spankings. So the daughter went back to school, and she was light-skinned, and she had a little red mark, a little red imprint from his hand. Why CPS came and separated him from his family and everything, it took him like a year and a half to get back to his family. It took him a whole year and a half. He was married too. He was a husband. So when you talk about parents and they need to do this and that, I'm not making no excuses because I believe there's other ways to discipline other than I do the military and the push-ups and the sit-ups and I like to do the military discipline because, it actually disciplines them and it makes them stronger as well. So I do I do the gym class exercise, the jumping jacks and stuff like that. I try to do more of that stuff. Knock the laziness out of them and they become super athletic. There you go. You might win the Olympics. You might win the Olympics when I'm done. If you want to act bad, You may be acting bad, but I'm going to have you doing push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. And then when you start playing sports, you're going to be the fastest one. You might make it on the Green Bay Packers if you keep acting like that, because I'm going to work you out. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, this is the trick. This is the trick. And this is why a lot of these kids running around here acting like they Superman. Because the school will tell on you if that kid acting bad, the school gonna call the peoples on you. Understand what I'm saying? But look, when we come back, FEMA is setting up. If you've been in the flood, I guess they setting up. We're going to have some more information, some updated information on that. We're going to talk about how you can get the resources FEMA is about to set up right here in Wisconsin. We're going to talk about it when we get back. Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
And that's Tory Lowe, bringing you all the action and all the smoke.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform. And on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Friday Night Lights now officially lives here. 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette Hilltoppers football. Tune in Friday night as the Hilltoppers travel to take on the Economawalk Raccoons. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.G. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Burghardt Sporting Goods.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. We are nearly 1 million strong and growing stronger every day. Join us on Saturday, October 11th at 8 a.m. at Summerfest Southgate as we come together for the Making Strides of Milwaukee Walk. Whether you walk for a survivor, in the memory of a loved one, or to support the American Cancer Society, you bring us closer to a future free from breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country right here in Milwaukee? Sign up for free today at www.makingstrideswalk.org/Milwaukee. WI.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. A lot of customers might have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home. But when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Watching them work from idea to installation gives you the ability to see firsthand the care taken to ensure the Pella experience is complete. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 9/30/2025.
This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app at 1017thetruth.com.
If you want your burger, oh baby, you be lying in your verses. I be here and say you buying them purses. I can't even lie, you ain't my type, you ain't even know that fine in person. I can guarantee you if you my kind, she got every bag you can imagine. Big house, I can really be bragging. 100,000 in my mouth, like what's happening? Not the big cheap tea that's embarrassing. He ain't me, you can keep the comparison. My probably one of the baddest. Good girl, turning into a savage. This bitch got a problem in traffic. We can't do imagine.
101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the ones and twos. Good news. Good news for those that have been waiting for an opportunity to talk to FEMA. FEMA is setting up. FEMA is setting up in Waukesha County. A series of FEMA disaster recovery centers are set to open beginning Tuesday, September 23rd across Waukesha County. Butler, Brookfield, Muskego will act as host sites. I don't see Milwaukee a site for Milwaukee. But I guess you got to go to Waukesha, somewhere to one of those sites. Brookfield, maybe, Butler, Brookfield. They got, I guess these host sites will be in Muskego. But the residents can get help by applying for federal assistance, connecting with representatives from county, state, and federal agencies for additional resources. This is what I say, like, you got to make sure that you schedule or you had to keep vigilant and making sure that you're on a lot of these lists, because I don't see Milwaukee involved in none of this. Like, as far as like having a site where it's in Milwaukee, unless they're going to announce it, they're going to announce it sometime here soon. But if this is it, y'all got to definitely stay vigilant, because I don't see a site for Milwaukee at all. Kawana said, and you won't see Milwaukee because they're going to assist them first, and then all the money will be gone by the time it get to Milwaukee. All I'm saying is you better be up in that line. Y'all better find somebody, that can drive over there, because if you wait and think they're going to come to you, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You got to be vigilant. I'm trying to tell you right now. Don't be sitting around waiting, sitting on your front porch on the chair talking about nobody ain't came to see you. Because while you doing that, the money going to be going out. And it wasn't even the full amount that they really asked for. So you better be up there waiting. As soon as I'll be out there with a 10. Waiting for the doors to open. But we got video on this. If you're watching this, we broadcast live on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you ain't subscribed. Join the chat. Let's listen.
That beginning next week, Tuesday, Waukesha County residents will be able to visit FEMA disaster recovery centers. Now, we have 3 municipalities that are going to be host sites throughout the county. We've got Butler, Brookfield, and Muskego, which are going to be conveniently located for our Waukesha County residents to visit if they have any questions about uninsured flood damage. I'm going to go over some of the dates that this will be happening, but this is all going to be posted on our website, waukeshacounty.gov, and also social media, in case you all can't remember all of the dates. So beginning Tuesday, September 23rd, residents impacted by the flooding, again, who are seeking assistance, can visit Butler Village Hall from 9 a.m. to 7. They're going to be open 7 days until September 30th, so Tuesday to Tuesday, which does include Saturday and Sunday. Following that, FEMA moves to the Brookfield Public Safety Building on Calhoun Road, October 1st to the 4th, and then the 6th to the 11th. And those hours, again, are going to be Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7, except on the 6th, 9 a.m. to 4. The final stop will be in Muskego from October 13th to the 17th. Now, there are lots of ways to apply for FEMA assistance, as we've been publicizing. You can do it online, you can call. But these centers are a really great way for someone who maybe isn't tech savvy, doesn't have computer access, and really wants to have that face-to-face with somebody from FEMA. And we should also note that at these recovery centers, there will be representatives from the Small Business Administration. So with that, I will bring up Waukesha County Executive Paul Farrow to say a few words. Paul?
Thanks, Hillary. Well, good morning. I guess I wanted to say, first of all, when you think back, it's about just over a month now that we saw the floods occur in our communities and the communities in the area. What you're seeing today is what counties do. And that's one of the things I guess I really want to point out is we're not just the first responders.
Milwaukee County.
We're, as I kind of jokingly say, the second and third responders. We coordinate with our municipalities, with the state, with the federal government to ensure that our residents are getting the care and the assistance that they need. And that's what we're here today to talk about with the FEMA locations. I want to say real quick, a thank you again to our communities, the municipalities in Waukesha County have really done a phenomenal job in this situation to coordinate their efforts. I remember the night of the storms that were coming through, we had a number of municipalities that were sharing barricades. We're ensuring that the roads were getting blocked off.
We got the message. Because I ain't hear not one time they say anything about Milwaukee County. Milwaukee County, Milwaukee residents. Hey, my eyebrow about to go up. DJ Brother Z, I thought this was for everybody.
No, they said Waukesha residents.
They said Waukesha. Okay, well, I'm gonna go up there because I'm gonna go up there and go live. You know, see if I have flood damage, I'm going to these sites because if you don't make yourself heard, it's a wrap. They need what they say. Barber said set up shop at Midtown. I don't know. They ain't setting up shop around here. They should have had a whole site in Midtown and ain't nothing else going on one side. The other side is empty, where the Lowe's and the old Walmart is empty. They could have set up right there. I'm trying to tell you, this is where you got to start, being vigilant and making sure that you stay active because they're already here for Waukesha. Then they named the other two areas that are sites. They say in the Butler Village Hall on 12621 West Hampton Avenue, Butler, Wisconsin. Then they say in Brookfield Public Safety Building at 2100 North Calhoun Road, Brookfield. Then Muskego City Hall, Racine Avenue, Muskego, Wisconsin. Where Milwaukee at? Somebody help me out. Y'all need to call David Crawley, the county executive, and see what's going on with the funding from Milwaukee. Y'all better call him before Tuesday. Don't wait till the tents open up. Don't wait till the tents open up on Tuesday. Call David Crawley tonight. Call his office. Call his people and ask what's happening. Because I listened to this article and I ain't seen or heard Milwaukee mentioned in the article not one time. So what is this? All right. Hey, I threw it out there now. I threw it out there for y'all. I'm going to call myself. I'm gonna make sure I do. I ain't a victim of the flood, but I did help a lot of people who were victims, a lot of my elders. I did go around and help a lot of my elders. But at the end of the day, my eyebrow about to go up because if Waukesha getting some response, they about to set up next week. They doing Brookfield, they doing Muskego. I didn't hear about the north side. Where the elected officials at with this? See, this is out of my range right now. This is out of my area. They supposed to be coordinating stuff for the folks that's around here, and I'm wondering, what's this? Is this gonna be all the money gone before 30? What they say, 29 point something million? It seems like once they get done with this round, there might not be none left. Hey, look, when we come back, we're going to have a pop culture report. Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
The Tory Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Even your pickiest eater will say yes to this. Crispy chicken tenders are now at Cousin Subs. Perfect on their own with a favorite dipping sauce, or stacked in one of our 2 new subs. Classic crispy chicken or bold Buffalo Ranch crispy chicken. Made with quality chicken and served on our fresh baked bread. It's a mealtime win for kids and grown-ups. But hurry, these crispy favorites are only here for a limited time. Order in store, online, or on the app today. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We address people, young boys, as if they're grown when they're not. For me, they're not young men, they're young boys. And I think if we can keep them in that space, I can do a lot more with someone in middle school when I treat them as the boy that they are versus trying to make them men when they're not, and they probably have very few examples of that.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Coming with straight truth.
Tory, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you when I first started hearing your voice. And what you're doing, in the words of T-Pain and Gorilla, I love it.
Thank you, brother. Bless.
Hey, I'm down with you, man. I missed your last gathering, but the next one I'm going to be there, and I'm going to make sure I introduce myself because, hey, you're God in all circumstances.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Never miss a moment of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on the new 1017 The Truth.
Violence is a tool. Violence is a tool of oppression. It's a tool of subjugation. It's a tool of manifest destiny. Let's not say all of a sudden, oh, hip-hop music is why people are... No. Y'all know how America was discovered? Murder, slavery, human trafficking. The origins of violence predates hip-hop. Can we at least agree on that?
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Tap into the best power hour in radio in Milwaukee.
Drop my pants. I had to make sure I wasn't seen, I don't want nobody to get surprised.
This is a sick Negro.
I'm just a real one. I peed again, came on back. I said, what y'all been doing? We've been out here for 3 hours. Y'all ain't peed yet? Just sitting here, we playing beer pong, and y'all sitting here peeing next to me? I'm still itchy today. Thinking something wrong. Am I the only one that's astonished by this?
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. The Green Bay Packers are 2-0 and will take on the Cleveland Browns at Hurlington Bank Field. That game begins at noon Sunday. Coach Matt LaFleur.
The thing that you cannot do is start to press and jump certain things, and the next thing you know, the ball's going by you. So I just want to make sure we're playing disciplined first and foremost, but still with that mentality and that mindset to attack the ball.
The Brewers complete the sweep against the LA Angels, winning 5-2 in their final matchup. The crew heads down to St. Louis for a 3-game stand against the Cardinals. The Brewers sit at 94-59 on the year. Badger football is getting ready for a Big Ten matchup against Maryland. That game begins at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall on Saturday. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
More of the Tory Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Working me, she working me, urging me, it be urging me. Chill it up, the top of cold, the curtain, please. I decided to go up like Major League. She just popped the shit like poking beans. She just popped the
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the ones and twos. Pop Culture Report. Brought to you by Glenn Pearce. GP in studio. Truth Nation Insider. In the studio.
Go.
Hey, look, Glenn. It's a lot coming out of New York right now.
Too much.
And I know that's your hometown.
Yeah, it's too much to bear.
And I know you torn. Because these the brothers from your block, from Harlem. They be claiming Harlem.
Yeah, my idols, man.
Your idols, the ones that you grew up looking up to, and they was powerful.
They say
powerful.
they say your idols become your rivals sometimes.
Oh,
though.
wow.
Not in my eyes, but again, we take it back to this Camron and Mace, or not Mace, excuse me, but Dame Dash situation. Camron obviously popped up on his own separate podcast from It Is What It Is on Talk Flea. And he pretty much addressed some of the Dame Dash, comments and stuff like that, basically called him a liar, said that a lot of the stories that he told on the Breakfast Club interview were fabricated, and that Dame Dash isn't really who he claims to be. That he's walking around being this bitter old man that, a lot of people are kind of having trouble with, and then it also goes back to the paid in full situation as well with 50 Cent and Camron, buying out the rights or owning the exclusive rights to the show. Or to the licensing or the idea of it. Right. I'm not sure exactly. Or the property, the intellectual property.
I guess they bought it through a bankruptcy, the rights, I guess.
Well,
that's what they said.
Yeah, but apparently there's another note, too, that comes down to this. Apparently Dame Dash was offered money for his piece of Rockefeller, I believe a couple years ago. They were saying that there were rumors that Drake was going to buy his portion for a couple $1 million. I think Youngboy, or NBA Youngboy, was also a part of that.
Right.
And a couple other artists bidded for it, and he didn't want to sell it. And then it, went into, I'm not sure what exactly the claim of the court. Yeah. And then it became acquired by the government, and 50 Cent kind of stumbled in and purged it. So,
well, didn't Jay-Z get his third back?
Well, him and Biggs already own. They still own their property.
But what happened to that third of Rockefeller?
That's still theirs. Oh, you talking about that third that Dame Dash?
Yeah.
I think it's just unclaimed. I
thought that they went and got it. Like, I thought Jay-Z sent some people through the back door and got it on the auction.
He might have. I don't know.
I think that's how that was going. I think that they waited till it was taken.
Right.
And then I don't know, because I was hearing that everything was up for grabs, because once the government sees it, they'll auction a lot of that off, just like how they did Suge Knight and Death Row.
Right. Yeah. But, I mean, going back to that, obviously his piece of Rockefeller that was up in there or up for grabs. And then as of today, news has come out that Dame Dash is deciding to sue Camron for $300 million.
Here we go.
And this statement, as read or as posted on his Instagram account, Dusko Poppington, in his own words, I never hustled with Mr. Camron. He's a civilian, but he's messing with my family office, and he's now made my wife and 2 of my sons uncomfortable. I would never do anything violent, and I don't want anyone that loves me to do anything violent, so this is the only way that I can handle this. So this is my version of how the Godfather handled Fredo. I knew it was going to be one of my brothers. I just didn't know it was going to be you. And that makes me sad. We'll just have to let a judge decide like businessmen, and I don't find it funny. I hope you don't have any houses in your name. They're about to be mine. And Big Fendi, I do forgive you because I do consider you my brother. Never let any man go at your family, wife, or kids. Protect them at all costs. I dare you to say something.
See, didn't he start this, though? Dame Dash got out there talking that him and Cam was on a run with Big L. And, I mean, when people, it's kind of like Drake. They threw the rocks, somebody responded, and they responded with a lawsuit.
Yeah, throwing stones in a glass house.
Wow.
That's what they say. It's Dame's way of staying relevant and, again, basically showing that he will go to any length in order to protect whatever idea or status that he believes he has in the rap game. Again, I did come out earlier this week and I did say that I still have faith in Dame Dash and that I respect him as a mogul and, the intellectual music industry person that he was. But again, this second act that we're seeing where he's targeting everybody else and kind of still trying to prove this point, going out on a limb and calling Charlamagne gay without any true proof.
Okay, so what if Charlamagne sues him for defamation?
That wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world either.
And threatened him, said he would beat him up, and basically, like, if he was on the street, all I'm saying is, where is entertainment? Where's the line between entertainment and legality?
Like how far is someone willing to go in order to protect? I don't know. That's the thing. We talk about it all the time. Again, in the media or in these spaces, these are people who see themselves as superior figures. Again, Dame Dash has been a superior figure. He was the spearhead or the centerpiece of the Rockefeller label. And again, he got left behind in the dust. And now that we see all these people kind of running to these podcasts and talking into these mics, he doesn't really seem to be as powerful or as controlling as he was.
Right.
It just seemed like people were waiting for him to make those mistakes. He was very calculated and, very intentional about some of the things that he did to make the business grow. But his ego and his pride were the ultimate downfall of his entity.
They're making memes about this man. Dame he used to be a symbol of being your own boss.
Right.
Now he's the symbol of bankruptcy, or when you don't know what to do, or if your business go downhill. It's almost a 380, a 180.
Mm-hmm. It's tough
with Dame.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand what he's trying to get out of this. And the thing is, again, the other people that he's trying to deal with, Cam, Charlemagne, anybody else that he's looking to target, 50 Cent, they could sue him, but Dame Dash doesn't have a leg to stand on. How much money are they going to get out of this? All they're going to do is drag him back into court, and he's going to put himself in further, debt or further monetary troubles. Dame Dash, again, is he's reaching and he's grasping at straws. He went on the Breakfast Club and he let them pull him out of pocket. They went there and they kind of asked him, "How do you feel about this? How do you feel about how Camron is acting with 50 Cent?" And he basically went on to say, like, I don't agree with anything because he's under someone else's shadow. He wants to stand on his own 10 as his own man, but no one else is there to help him when they see him down and out. It's tough when you see all your friends that are linking up together and being productive, and you're on the outside looking in.
But he isolated himself. You know what? Jay-Z was right.
What did Jay-Z say?
I ain't messing with him no more. He didn't say nothing.
To do, yeah.
He just walked away from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dame is his own problem to me at this point. It seems like his ego, the way he handles things, and the way he comes at people, after they get a taste of that, they don't want to work with that no more. He was talking all of this extra about you got to be a boss and start your own stuff and get your own stuff. Now he's the biggest crybaby in 2025.
We'll see how it goes. If he really does take it that far and he wants to file it in court, Camron's money is longer than his again. Camron can get lawyered up today, and there's no proof of anything that he said that I guess defamed him. He's only responding to the comments and the assumptions that were made on the Breakfast Club podcast or even anything that he kind of traded online. Obviously, Camron said, well, damn, like, I thought we was joking. I thought we was still cool. Like, you can't play how I play. I take things way further than it needs to go. So,
and plus, this is why people don't really respect a lot of the olders. I ain't talking about no elders. I said the olders.
The olders.
Because he acted like an older. Because think about it, Cam, they came out of the same batch.
Right.
They got money together. He keeps referring to himself as the Godfather. Like when he seen the little cats he was around come up, it seemed like he got jealous.
But that's the thing. Again,
but see, if he was a real elder, a real OG, he would flip kind of. And I hate to even put this scenario out there, but when Diddy was at Uptown, Andre Herrera was the boss.
Right.
But then he flipped and started working for Diddy for Bad Boy because Diddy came up.
Because it comes full circle.
But what I'm saying is Dame don't want to get off his high horse. He could have worked for them guys and been a better asset for a lot of these younger cats that he had mentored.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Something that works today won't always work tomorrow. And again, Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek and all the other guys that were under the Rockefeller label, they kind of realized that. They realized that Dame was beginning to be comfortable. He felt that he had already had the world in the clutches of his palms. And that's how, we see Kanye West. He branched out and he became his own producer and his own artist and stuff like that. Jay-Z also began, to ascend into the stratosphere as an artist, and he kind of left Dame Dash behind.
But think about it. Dame has been a part of different groups that became multimillionaires and even a few billionaires. Why ain't they pouring back into him to keep him afloat?
Because he believes that they wouldn't have been what they are without him.
Okay, but his ego is intolerable. Like, you would be like, okay, thank you, Dame, for giving me a shot. I see you going through hardship. That all that bankruptcy stuff that's happening to him, you telling me Kanye West couldn't have cleared that? You couldn't tell me some of the artists that he poured into couldn't have helped him clear that up?
Back in the day,
it was the situation with Lil Wayne. Jay-Z helped him clear that up when he was going through.
Right.
Birdman didn't even help him clear that up.
Right. You ain't wrong at all.
Okay, so what's going on? Who the real OGs around here? Where the real elders at? Because he's older. He is acting ignorant, arrogant, and it's coming back to bite him because he did pour into people that have the means to step in.
I think the problem is that he's begging people for his flowers. He's not letting people give them. I think, again, we saw Dame Dash disappear for the better part of 10 to 20 years up until now, where he popped up on, some of these podcasts and these platforms again, and he was kind of saying, this wouldn't have happened without me. I did this, I ran that. There's no reason to proclaim or to beg people for your flowers when you know that you've put in the groundwork that has brought up, again, people. Jay-Z, I don't want to say that Jay-Z wouldn't have been Jay-Z without Dame Dash, but he laid the blueprint and he kind of put him in a great spot in order to become his own man and his own star. There's a lot of groundwork that he did for some of these people, but you can't keep throwing it in people's faces that you provided them an opportunity. It doesn't mean anything if you're going to keep harping on the fact that they wouldn't have done anything without you in the first place.
All right, I'm going to say this. A lot of people hold on to their glory days past their days.
Right.
And they still think that they can get it, the way that they got it in their glory days. And instead of them falling back and helping mature other people into the space to keep at least a stream of income, because these people are going to be, if you start switching your roles and taking now I wouldn't even say a lesser role. I think it's more powerful to actually coach.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to be the player.
At all.
Okay, so he could have just became a coach and got the residuals.
Well, not even that. Again, he was already in a GMS kind of role, when Rockefeller started. He could have easily kind of become a silent partner or just kind of a special advisor for anything. But once the label crumbled and everybody wanted to be independent, he was struggling to find a foothold somewhere else. He had control of his money, or, at least that's some type of connection and that's some type of respect for the earlier part of the 2000s. But
there's no way Dame should be broke.
At all.
There's no way, but it's him.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be talking about it.
It's him.
But he refuses.
He trash.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. He trash. Because it's no way, mathematically, financially, with all of the people that he surrounded himself with that came out of the same batch. So I got to look at, if they're successful, if they're thriving, and you're not, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's hard to take a look in the mirror again when everybody else is ascending and everybody else is doing their own thing. I hope for his sake that he gets some type of clarity or remedy on the situation, but it's kind of hard because once you become that age, you're so stuck in your ways and you're so stubborn.
Now you finna go down with the ship.
Exactly. He's already sinking though. He's already drowning.
Well,
the ship is already.
But the thing is, people think that they gotta have this arrogant type of attitude and things like that. But like I said, when you're working with people, that's a skill to understand how to fluctuate your energy in certain spaces to continue to get the work done.
Right. We talk about it all the time. Everybody on a team plays a role. Again, you have a coach, you have your star, you have your sixth man, and you have other people that kind of fill in as needed. Again, Dame has failed at becoming a sixth man. He doesn't want to play the background to anybody else because he feels like he was so powerful back in his glory days that there's no reason that he can't become that same powerful version.
Right,
again.
But he has to go through his system. And when you're not cooperating with your own system, that's what I think is trash. Him as a person, as what he was able to do, that's powerful.
Right.
But not being able to stay in the system that you fueled with and make the adjustments, that attitude is trash.
It's tough. Again, we always see, we don't learn all of these, stories that come from, I guess, from the background until there's a documentary or until somebody eventually passes away. I hope that it doesn't come down to that, to the point where he's no longer here to tell his story, that people are willing to speak up on his behalf and actually let the world know the good things that he actually did. But again, if he keeps begging for this acknowledgement and this attention from all these other people and proclaiming as if his brand is still so strong and still so undeniable,
CEO.
He needs to be a realist. He doesn't own anything. His name isn't attached to anything, and there's no real revenue coming in for him anymore. He just happens to have a nice house off of the spoils that he put in, again, early 2000s and late 90s. But at this point in your life, what more do you have to offer the society, or what more do you have to offer the rap game? He's just becoming a laughingstock week in and week out.
So they saying in the chat, Dame is the new Eddie Kane.
Oh, that's foul.
That's wild.
That's foul.
Hey, look, when we come back, we'll have more Pop Culture Report with GP. Truth Nation. Stay locked in.
More of the Tory Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Do I dare even answer this man's call?
Sure. Are you there?
I ain't even answered the damn call yet, man. Bob, keep this on the Bob, listen to me. Keep this on the subject matter, and if you can, we can't take your call, man. You distracted.
Okay, now look. Since you don't listen to Linda about getting married, at least take that thing around your neck to push when something happens.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Tracy, going back to the process, and as it relates specifically to the partnership that Old National Bank has with Housing Resource, what does the process consist of when coming through this program?
It's a referral process. We work with clients that first-time homeowners that may not have the counseling that they need. They may not have the equity, the down payment that they need. So we refer them to our partners like HRI or Housing Resources, Inc., because we recognize that those organizations, they have the resources, they have the tutorial documentation and all of those things that are necessary for first-time homeowners that don't know the process, may not know the system, may not know what's required for home ownership. So working with Housing Resources, Inc. and other partnerships that we have like through WIDA has been very, very advantageous, not only for us, but also the organizations, but also for the community.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
Are you looking for ways to give back to your local community? Use volunteerwisconsin.org to find opportunities to volunteer your time with organizations making a difference near you. As we celebrate United Ways Month, we're also celebrating you. Visit volunteerwisconsin.org or get in touch with your local United Way or Volunteer Center to find out more about local opportunities to get involved. Volunteerwisconsin.org is hosted by United Way of Wisconsin and Serve Wisconsin. Paid for by United Way of Wisconsin.
It's the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Like a spaceship. When she with me, all we do is go shopping and take trips. Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, yeah. Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, yeah, yeah. Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, Eddie Kane, yeah, yeah. Gang, 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 gang. Whole lot of
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show, Pop Culture Report with Glenn Pearce, GP, in studio. What else is going on? What else is going on out here in these pop culture streets?
I mean, it's a lesser known story, which is kind of crazy considering the eerie details behind it. But there's a singer that is, I don't want to say facing murder or charges, but everything or all signs are pointing towards him being implicated in the murder, and it just bear with me for a while. There's a lot to unpack. So, David Anthony Burke, better known as David, again, he's a 23-year-old singer currently, or 20 years old. He's born in 2005, and so his Tesla, or a Tesla that was registered in his name, was recently found earlier this month in an impound lot. And the remains of a missing 13-year-old girl at the time were found in the trunk. And so, again, the decomposing body was found in the front trunk of an impounded Tesla. The body was chopped up, heavily decomposed, and drew attention after a foul odor began emanating from the car. Again, it's registered to David, but he was on tour currently while that body was found, so he was not an initial suspect in the missing person case, or now has what become a murder case. He continued on his tour. And Wednesday, obviously, they identified the body. It was 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been missing since April 5th, 2024. Oh, wow. And so it said that she had seemed to be deceased in the vehicle for an extended period of time. And Celeste was described as a 5'1", 71-pound female with wavy black hair and a tattoo on her right index finger reading "Shush." That same tattoo has also been found on David's right hand.
What?
So they had a matching tattoo, apparently, which is another eerie coincidence here. And then later that day, TMZ spoke with a woman who identifies herself as Rivas's mother. And she said that her daughter was actually dating someone, David, at the time of her disappearance. And the rest of his tour was recently canceled, or I believe the cancellation of the tour came out today. And so since then, obviously, there's been social media videos and kind of eerie things circulating. And he has a song that is titled after Celeste Rivas, obviously named Celeste. And it was shared on his Discord channel a couple of years ago. And some of the lyrics read, "Be my Valentine, I want to make you be suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross my mind just because." And there's also been really weird themes with some of his shows, which have featured wreaths, which are common at funerals, as well as caskets and other things relating to death. And then there's also a Discord, or I believe a stream, where Celeste Rivas was seen on stream with David. And there's photos, there's videos, there's TikToks that have also pointed towards, David being involved in her death, where I believe one TikTok was captioned, "How do you become not the worst person in the world?" So it's a weird
All right,
situation.
But check this out. Once again, you got a situation where somebody in the entertainment business is linked to a death.
Right.
Linked to something that's, somebody lost their life. This Tesla is sitting in a lot for months.
At a time. It's weird. Again, there was also, I believe they had a warrant to search one of the houses, or another house that was registered to his name. I believe his manager was staying in it at the time, though. And that's how they kind of secured some of the video of him. I believe he was cleaning a pair of shoes on video, or posted it somewhere on a burner account. There's a lot of things that are like adding up and tying him back into it. And it makes me feel, or it gives me the belief that he wanted to be caught at some point.
Is he a suspect?
Yes, he now is a suspect. That's why the cancellation of his tour, because I believe he was out in Minnesota, so they wanted to catch him before he went overseas, obviously to try and avoid charges at least. But all signs are pointing towards him being the killer, or
It's his car. You got to have codes to get in a Tesla.
Well, that's the thing. All of the signs that kind of point towards
who could have been driving the Tesla?
There's an alleged
That's
cover
what I'm
up.
saying.
Yeah. There's belief that he might have given the car to someone else, because obviously someone else had dropped the car off if he was out on tour or out of town while the body was found. So there's a lot of things pointing towards him implicating other people, or at least trying to make the trail run cold.
Kind of like the tight end from the New England Patriots.
Yeah, basically to divert people until something else comes to light. It's weird, but it's kind of sad, because it also feels like everybody else that was in this young girl's life has failed her. I don't want to blame parents necessarily, but if your daughter is this young and you know that she's hanging out with someone who's legally an adult, you are at fault.
Okay, so check this out. She's out hanging willy-nilly at what, 15?
14, 13 years old.
With this guy that's much older than her.
It started when she was in 8th grade.
Okay, so where's the parents?
Teachers, friends, anybody, somebody.
Was there a missing report?
There was a missing part. She was filed as a missing part, or she was missing for the better part of a year. That was when I believe the initial report was filed, but her body was found obviously a year later, heavily decomposed in that trunk. So there's no semblance of what her last moments might have looked like, or who she was last seen with. There's just mounting evidence pointing towards her and him having some type of friendship, whether it be romantic or platonic. But it seems...
It sounds pedo. It's giving me pedo vibes.
It definitely is. It feels like he wanted to get caught, because all of this information is now kind of coming out and coming to light. It seems like people were aware of it, but no one questioned him on it.
Well, look, keep us updated on this.
As always.
Hey, look, I appreciate you for coming through with the Pop Culture Report, GP.
Appreciate you having me. I did a 5 for 5. I was here every day this week. I checked in. Perfect attendance.
Hey, look, keep it up. Keep up the great work. Hey, look, and make sure we get the next, whatever happens with Dave. I want to know what's going on with that.
For sure. I'll keep everybody updated.
All right, Truth Nation, when we come back, we'll have more conversation. When we come back, stay locked in.
How is it possible for somebody to be found guilty of something and serve no jail time? How is it possible that someone can get a first offense misdemeanor when it comes to marijuana here in the state of Wisconsin and can face up to 6 months in jail, but 2 men who are convicted of murder get probation? This is not what justice is about. Why does this keep happening, Truth Nation? And why does it always seem like black people die and we don't get the justice that we deserve? How should we react to this? If you commit a crime, you must do the time. If you take somebody's life, you have to pay the cost. I don't care that it was an accident because it does not make sense to me how someone can be murdered and somehow they get no time. Even if you accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no. So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Recovering after being shot by a Milwaukee police officer on the city's south side. Authorities say the officer made a traffic stop Wednesday near 12th and Greenfield when a 21-year-old man exited his vehicle and fled on foot. Officials say during the chase, the suspect dropped a gun and tried to grab it. That's when the officer fired his gun at the suspect. Police say the 21-year-old man was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive. No other injuries were reported. The 26-year-old Milwaukee police officer with over 6 years of service is on administrative leave. Microsoft plans to invest an additional $4 billion to build a second data center in Mount Pleasant. The company plans to use the facility as a distributed training supercomputer for artificial intelligence services. This brings Microsoft's total investment to Racine County to over $7 billion. Microsoft officially purchased 315 acres of land in Mount Pleasant in June of 2023. The first artificial intelligence data center is on track for completion in early 2026. The unemployment rate is holding steady last month in Wisconsin at 3.1%, staying below the national unemployment rate of 4.3%. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the state's labor force decreased by 7,100 over the month, and the number of people employed also went down by 6,000. Job sectors that saw the biggest gains were healthcare, leisure and hospitality, and administration support. This has been your news update. The Tory Lowe Show continues on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth, the most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM, the movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tory Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tory Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready.
101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe. Tory Lowe Show live from American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. The movement continues. The marathon continues right here on 101.7 The Truth. Thank you for joining me for the second hour of the Tory Lowe Show. And we got guests. We got Dr. Reverend Solstice in the studio.
Man,
hey, look, I appreciate you for being here on this Friday again. You know, I appreciate you circling the block and doubling back on this Friday.
Amen.
And I'll tell you this, I got a question. And I'm going to throw this out there to Truth Nation, too. I need everybody to join the conversation. I need to focus in right now. I need some real conversation right now because we talk about the parents. And anytime something happens where kids are involved or a kid gets shot and people acting undisciplined, you always hear the conversation, these parents ain't raising their kids right.
Right.
But what I will say is this. Over the last 20-some years, since I've been dealing with the community, I've seen that the system has put their hands on the parents on what they can and can't do with the child.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if they do certain disciplinary actions and these kids can go and report them to Child Protective Service or to a teacher at school, or say my dad hit me or my mom whipped me, and then some of these parents start getting charges and going through you got to take all these classes and things like that. So I think a lot of people start backing up off really like going in on the kids.
Right.
You got some people say, hey, look, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. You know, you always going to have some parents like that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the more fearful parents may be like, I don't want to deal with that. So they to me, they started becoming buddy parents.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't whoop them. I can't do it because I don't want to, face no backlash. So I'm going to be their buddy.
Can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. The kids running everybody. It seems like the government gave the kids a little way out,
mm-hmm.
and the parents had to kind of be careful
mm-hmm.
on when they started to discipline or how they wanted to approach the child, which left a room for a lot of the kids to be wayward,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of parents to feel like their hands was tied, because the same entity that was said there to help the child gave the child a little bit more leverage on the parent. To me,
mm-hmm. True.
Is that by design or what? Well, I mean, what's going on here?
I see the change happening, right? And the way you described it is exactly what was happening right now. But one of the missing pieces, and that's the point of this segment, is that healing part, right? Where we do need to move beyond that traditional physical, disciplinary actions where, people whooping and spanking, right? Of course, that's been faded out a bit, but I think we could find more creative ways of discipline. As soon as you hear discipline, a lot of people go straight to like punishment.
But we traumatized though.
Right.
When we hear discipline, it's more like, whips and chains, like you gonna get your butt whooped.
Right. And we pass that on, right?
Yeah.
And so that may have been effective in getting the child to fear you, right? But it's not effective in getting the child to trust you. And so they may be wilding out, the way we see today. But before,
I think the government too busy in operating in the lives of a lot of these families. They got their
hands in.
When the kids some kids just will, like, let's say it's two parents in the house.
Mm-hmm.
The kid will go ask the mama, hey, look, can I have this? And then the mama be like, nah. Then they'll suck around and ask the dad and get it. And the dad be like, oh, go right ahead.
Yeah.
And the mama, well, how did you get that? I told you no.
Uh-huh.
Well, the kid is always going to be looking for a way to get what they want.
For sure.
So take that out of context and put it into the school where I know, okay, I did something bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's time to get disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I could go back to school and tell the teacher, and she's going to take action because she's a mandatory reporter.
Right.
So it's kind of like I've seen that with my own two eyes. I had to even go at CPS multiple times when it came to women and families in certain situations.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, have they done too much to cripple the parent, or do the parent just needs to make a certain adjustment with the times?
I think it's both, right? The parents can make adjustments in the sense of, reevaluating what discipline looks like, right? Getting more creative in their disciplinary actions, right? We look at the schools, right, who some of these schools are removing detention and replacing detention with meditation. And we've seen that those schools that do that, right, the grades are going up, the behavior of the kid is getting better, right? They have better memory, they have better ways of coping with stress and exams and just even like stress at home, right? And so I see some of these schools who took a creative approach to discipline, right? Like that meditation, it may not feel like that traditional, discipline and how we understand discipline, especially from a traumatized frame or view or experience. But this is a much more, one is more effective, right? It's not causing any harm because, people think that, just because you're think about this, right? People think because you're the parent, a lot of the ideology is that I'm going to whoop you before the streets whoop you or before the police whoop you or but you're whooping me. You are first in line to whoop me. And then they still gonna whoop me, right? Maybe, but your whoopings aren't stopping me. It's just an additional like whooping. Like think about any other scenario where it's just like, yeah, we should hit this person or beat this person to make them behave, right? If we look at the police department's doing this and saying like no, then why would we approve this in the family unit, right? They're like, oh yeah, we whooped them so they behave, but then when the police whoop them for them to behave, then it's like it's a problem.
I'm the reverse. I say, okay, let's say I don't discipline my child like that. Like, let's say, because I do the military exercises. And let's say I don't beat my child, but then the police stick a gun in his face. How am I supposed to explain that? It's tit for tat. It's multiple ideas working at once. Because you could be the parent that be like, okay, I'm not going do the go get the branch, go get the switch and pluck the leaves off, because that's what my grandma did to me. I only got 3 whoopings from my grandma, and after I realized I could go another route, I was one of those kids that was like, okay, I'm gonna switch my behavior so this don't happen no more. I was one of those kids. I got 3 whoopings from my grandma. My grandma whooped me 3 times, but I knew I was wrong. I knew she was doing it because I did something that I wasn't going according to her plan. She came from Mississippi, so that's how they was getting down there.
Right.
But as I got older, I started to see that the system, as a person that fights almost every social idea with attorneys, you know what I mean? I get to see even the legal process on it. What I'm saying, Dr. Solstice, is the family, the black family. You got the black man always argue, on social media what the woman need to do, and then the woman argue what the man need to do, and the kids telling everybody what to do. So what's that?
As much as and this may be far-fetched, but as much as we are supposed to be the leader for the next generation, I do also believe that the next generation has answers that we don't have. And they show us that in the political arena. They show us that even in the social media arena, right? We grew up, go to school, get a job, yada yada yada. They grow up like, nah, I ain't getting no job. I'm finna blow up and have my own business. I'm finna make my own way. Yeah, and they're leading the way in a lot of things, right? And they have been less socialized, right, and programmed than we have, right? Where a lot of that socialization and programming through government, through schooling, through media has been instilled in us and like just sitting there solid, right? Whereas they have less of that, right? They're still young, it's still happening, but they're breaking through that, right? And especially as social media becoming, the idea of the celebrity, or the idea of, there's only this one powerhouse, this one cable channel, that you can learn from. They're learning from so many different people.
So you saying that my grandma used to say, y'all getting wiser, but y'all getting weaker.
She said you got more information, but a lot of times the old school had to put their hands on stuff. Even if they weren't as educated, they were always creating things because they were always working. And they were working so hard that if it wasn't something there, they would know how to make the adjustment.
Yeah.
Now I run into a lot of people, they got a lot of knowledge. They read all these books. But they can't build nothing.
It's so much information, right? Where you can read and read and read, but the application may take time. And so by the time you finish trying to apply something new you learn, you still learning new stuff, right? I mean, it's a constant stream of information that we have, whether that's through social media or elsewhere. And so I can see the challenge, but I also see how kids, they're just learning differently from how we learn, and they're applying differently from how we apply things or previous generations.
Well, Eric Jones in the chat, he brings up a great point.
What's that?
He says, so is Proverbs chapter 13 wrong? Spare the rod and train up the child.
Yes.
What? Oh, wow.
I think,
Oh, wow.
I think it's taken out of context a lot of time where, the first thing people say when they try to justify beating their kids is...
I ain't talking about no abuse now.
I mean, we can say it how we want. It could be a whooping, it could be a spanking.
I didn't see the abuse now.
Right.
Some folks got they got mental health issues. They shouldn't be whooping on the kids because that's not even a whooping. That is not even a.
I don't think it matters.
I think a whooping is that you did something bad and then you might get a little pat.
Right. I hear you, but I don't think it matters if they have a mental health issue or not. I think once you insert violence into the equation, then you make less space for love, right? Yeah, when you insert violence into
so you don't love the kid if you give him a spank.
I won't say you won't love him. I will say that it's fairly misguided. It's probably misguided by your pain and the way you've learned. Right. The Bible also says in Deuteronomy that if your son is lazy and a drunkard, then take him out to the village and stone him with the rest of the community. Right? What
chapter is that?
That's in Deuteronomy 20:22, right? And so, people pick and choose what verses they want to take literal and what verses they want to say, we just supposed to learn what the essence is from, right? These people who, want to spare the rod, spoil the child, folks, they just... They just really need to find more creative ways to discipline, and it's a lazy approach. I think whooping, slapping, tapping, pinching, it's a lazy whatever. It ain't beating.
Oh, wow.
They try to do any little thing to.
What about timeout? A lot of folks saying timeout. Maybe have them stand in the corner and to take a timeout.
I think standing in the corner and taking a timeout.
And the ear grab, DJ Brazil said the ear grab is very dangerous.
That ear grab is dangerous.
Yeah,
ears are so sensitive.
You might rip the cartilage.
Exactly. Right? That stuff don't grow back. But anyways, I think timeouts, I think they could be effective if they're done right. One, there has to be some explanation. I would call it, a quiet time. I don't know if I would say go stand in this corner and look at this wall. It feels like solitary confinement to me. But I feel like if you can put them in a space, right, have them have some quiet time, some reflection time.
Is that like meditation? Is timeout like meditation?
It can
because they got to be quiet.
I think it's a difference between isolation and giving them that solitude to reflect on what they did. Right.
I want to go through some disciplinary strategies and get your opinion on this.
Let's do it.
Dr. Solstice in the studio on this Friday. We talking about parents and because everybody pointing the finger at the parents when it comes to the youth. And I'm trying to figure out what are some of the options that the parents, because you see the mayor get on TV with the press conference. Mm-hmm. And he's saying the parents need to do this, the parents need to do that. And I hear, some of the callers may say, hey, y'all can't be buddies with the parents. Y'all, so I want to make sure that we could get something out here.
I don't think the mayor needs to be telling any parent what to do.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to talk about it when we get back.
Yeah.
Keep that thought right there. We're going to talk about it when we get back. Truth Nation, if you want to join the conversation, 833-212-1017. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Don't touch that dial. The Tory Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. A lot of customers might have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home. But when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Watching them work from idea to installation gives you the ability to see firsthand the care taken to ensure the Pella experience is complete. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Server restrictions apply. It's 9/30/2025.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I promised that I wouldn't die for it. You just had to fucking let me. Now I'm married to the game, I'm in that. No more chains, I'ma buy me some gold. 3 babies, tryna make room for some more. Life learning lessons, cause you reap what you sow. Walking in Giuseppe, I'll be 10 on my toes. You know I welcome my
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. Truth Nation. Big news, Cousins subs got crispier. That's right. Our brand new crispy chicken tenders are here. Dip them in your favorite sauce or try them stacked in one of the 2 mouth-watering subs, the crispy chicken or the bold flavor-packed Buffalo Ranch crispy chicken. All served on a fresh baked bread made with the quality you can taste. But hurry, these crispy favorites are only for a limited time. So don't wait. Order in-store, online, or on Cousins app today. Cousin subs, we believe in better. Hey, look, let me tell you something. I think that this is an appropriate conversation because we got a conversation of what the parents can actually really do. You know, when it comes to disciplining their kids, we see a lot of things going on in the streets, and we hear a lot of people saying what the parents need to be doing. And from my point of view as an advocate, I do see that many people are opting not to do certain levels of discipline due to the fact that they may have a situation with Child Protective Services. Right. And so what I really want to understand is what are the options, what can we do, and how can the parents still discipline the child and maintain control over the youth? Because they say it starts at home. Mm-hmm. This is, when they point the finger, especially at the press conference when they all on TV talking about parents. It's some parents that they are trying to do the best they can. And I see it all the time, but there are some parents, like I said, this is not just a one way. It's multiple ideas going on at the same time in this conversation. But before we went to break, we talked about spare the rod, spoil the child. You had opinion on that. And then we also talked about, timeout. So, you said isolation. But what are some other forms of discipline that are out here that can get the job done?
I think, when we say timeout and we say, quiet time, I'm fine with those. I agree that those are beneficial ways of working with a kid for disciplinary actions. It's the particular kind of timeout where you say stand up in that corner up facing the wall, right? I don't think that's the version of timeout that is most beneficial. Yeah, you can make them go in a room and be quiet, have them even have them journal, have them reflect on what they did and figure out why that probably wasn't the best action for whatever the circumstances were. But I also think that a lot of this has to be a prescription in a sense where you are instilling in your kids the truth and moving in a way where you're being a model, right? Here's something that I've noticed that I did with my kids and I see them, right? As soon as I get a meal in front of me, I'm just like, let me turn that TV on. Let me watch some Walking Dead or something like this. And then at the same time, my boy, I would, give him some food, and then the first thing he like, I need a show to watch, and I'm just like, you don't need to watch no TV when, you every time you eat, yada yada, and not recognizing that they're simply learning that from me, right? And all this behavior, I'm not saying the parents are the only teachers, but they are like, the majority. Right. They're the primary attachment.
The first teachers.
Right. And so it really matters how you are, acting in front of them, how you are. What's your conflict resolution? Are you yelling and cussing at your partner or your friend or coworker or whatever the case, and they're seeing this, right? Are you getting angry and letting that anger out in unproductive ways? They're going to pick up on all of this. So I think even beyond taking some specific disciplinary action, the very best disciplinary action you can take is being the role model that you want to see in your kid. That's first and foremost. And then when you see they're acting out because of things they picked up in school or on TV or whatever, then you can take other steps. But first and foremost, you got to get your own self in that position of being like that example so much that they look up to you and they like, I want to be like that, right?
Well, I'll say this. I'm starting to see this emergence of the buddy parent, where the parent and the kid, even though they're the parent, they're the friend. And I always tell people, once the child see you as a friend, it's hard to gain the parent idea back, because then you have to tell them something 3 or 4 times. But that's because they see you as a friend or buddy, telling them what to do, because you have. I think that there's a separation between being a parent and somebody's friend. So I never wanted to be my child's friend. I wanted to be my child's father. I wanted to be the father that helped. I played with him. We did all the things together, but that level of parent was still there. Like, this is my dad. But when I see some people that they'll be up watching movies all night with the kid. They eat cereal. They eat the same cereal as the kid. They watching the same. They like laughing and cracking jokes. And then as soon as something happened that they need the kid to listen, the child doesn't respond well because you've entered into the friendly, like, this is my friend space. What's going on? Is that a situation?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see a lot more of that happening. And I think, it's kind of like what you were talking about in the beginning, where parents have been kind of blocked from doing, having certain methods of parenting, from other institutions. And so then they go to the drastically to the other side of like, all right, if I can't do it this way, let me try this way, right? And they don't have this balance of being a father or a mother, yes, but also being a person, right? And I think it's important to really be a full human being in front of them, right? As opposed to just being, right, you're a father, but how much can we expand what the definition of a father is? I'm not saying yes,
and that depends on your belief system and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah.
I got people from the nation fathers. I got people that believe in all kinds of different religions and different races as fathers. So, but at the end of the day, depending on their ideology, they father from that point. Yeah. So, but with me, I say when I talk to people, when I have to go and deal with Child Protective Service, when I got to go into some kind of situation as far as an advocate, I'd be like, if you don't know where you fit with your children, go tell them to do something. And don't tell them to do something. And if they don't listen to you, if you got to ask your child 3 or 4 or 5 times to do one thing, you may be a buddy parent.
Well,
or you may be lacking the authoritative idea that comes with being a parent.
Right. I think it's definitely, that sense of authority is definitely needed. But I think, the measurement can be, too confined, because we're still talking about children here. I think regardless of, the kind of disciplinary method or philosophy.
Is discipline even important?
Of course it is. But I don't think, a child not listening one time is an indicator of a lack of authority. I mean, because they're still kids. We have to often have to say over and over again, not just because we lack authority, but because they're just kids.
Well, if the police come and you running and they say freeze, okay. I mean, all right. I'm gonna say this because they don't care if you 13. They don't care if you. They don't care if you 10. I said stop.
Right.
And if you don't stop, you might get a bop.
You might. Or you might not.
Hey, depending on the officer, right? Okay. All I'm saying is discipline starts at home.
It does.
And if you don't have control over the home discipline, it's going to be a problem because out there, they may not be as empathetic with you. This is supposed to be your child, where in idea, you're supposed to get the most love from the home, which in a lot of times that may not even be the case. But when I'm in idea.
Right.
So if discipline is lacking at the home, when they get out into the streets where somebody is not going to have the empathy, it can become an issue.
It can. Yet I understand that as a reason, again, to be, right, one, a good model, and two, definitely be up on, what discipline looks like. But again, when we talk about discipline, immediately it goes to some kind of punishment or even control, right?
But discipline is a form of self-control.
Yeah, so we have to teach.
Control is actually in the form of discipline.
But self-control is exactly what it says. It's self-control. We can't.
But you got to implement the self-control with your children due to your ideas.
Absolutely. But we have to guide them there.
Or they're going to be somewhere and somebody else is going to give them some ideologies. That's why I believe in letting people know up front, like, this is what we believe in. This is as far as my household.
Absolutely.
Or then you're going to start getting into a lot of the political warfare and a lot of the social warfare once they go into social settings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's good to set the values of a home and make sure that, children are living by those values. Now, when it comes to all those other things, whether it's religion, politics, they're going to go about their way. We can guide them to those to what we feel is right, but we can't just control and think that our control is going to make their life easier or better or put them on a particular path.
Well, I think that when I look at your family, if you got a family, you're raising your family, you got a right to raise your family in your ideology.
Yes.
I mean, that's just that. I'm not even going to argue with that.
Yeah.
I'm not even going against that because I got different people, Native Americans, Hmongs, they may be China. They have a certain tradition that they raise their family in. I understand that, so I'm not going to take if they say, okay, I don't feed my kid this diet, and they say, okay, we don't want my kid to eat cotton candy.
Right.
And I get the kid and be like, don't worry about that. You got some cotton candy.
Nah.
Okay, so, and that's the small thing. What I'm saying is every parent in idea is their job to raise their children in their ideology and their traditions.
Yes.
Until they can choose, till they get old enough to choose.
Yes, but this is also on the assumption that our own ideology is the best way, right? Right now, we're talking earlier when we were talking about the whoopings and how that came
Discipline.
from, right? And how some of those types of disciplines came from a traumatized point of view. Now, that traumatized point of view is our ideology, and so.
Well, I came from the traumatized point of view because my family came off the cotton fields of Mississippi, and they believed in whooping their tail with the switches, and some of my family members, they hit you with whatever they could pick up too, because they was raised out of that. Yeah.
I'm aware, but my point is that we're raised out of that, and so then we have a right to use whatever ideology we that's ours. But we have to also then reflect too on what our ideology is, right?
Right.
We can't just keep taking from the past, like, oh, that was passed down, so this must be right.
And you always got to add value and maturity to yourself as well.
Absolutely, because if you're not, you're going to have this this static idea of what it is, right? And they grow and change. And so if we're just holding them to a particular standard that was set in the 1840s, then
that's wild.
But it's still here. We can see seeds, we can see flowers from the 1840s that have been blossomed in the way that we parent, and we have to pluck and prune some of
You
those
always got to pluck and prune. Yeah. Well, look, when we come back, we'll have more conversation. Truth Nation, we got Dr. Solstice in studio. Stay tapped in.
The Tory Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
School's back in session. Kids have their backpacks, school supplies, and new clothes. But are you ready as a parent? Families are the single most important factor in a child's academic success. This year, get to know your child's teachers. Stay engaged with their learning. Don't be shy about asking questions along the way. Because as a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. Learn more about how City Forward Collective is helping families, students, and schools thrive at cityforwardcollective.org.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
What was the life change? We all know it happened, and we know things happen, and you have bad kidneys, but what was the life change afterwards?
A couple things. Before they even allow you to get on the list, they make you go through a battery of tests. And, a lot of people don't qualify because they're overweight, or they have high blood pressure, or high cholesterol. So all those things are requirements before you can even get approved to be on the list. So I had...
Wait, you got to be approved to be on the list?
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's interesting. There's a professional athlete or former professional athlete I know right now that has kidney disease and he's on dialysis, and he wants to get on the list, and he's not accepting all the things you have to do, you know, to get on the list. But yeah, so for me, I spent 30 years in the automobile industry. You know, that's 12, 14-hour days, eating whatever somebody brings you to eat, whatever you run out and grab, McDonald's, whatever. It was never salads and, you know.
Yeah, but that was a
water.
choice, right?
It was a choice. Yeah. But I had to change all of that to even qualify to be on the list. I had to get down to the weight I had to be at. I had to get my phosphorus under control, my potassium under control.
Wait a minute. Even though somebody said they would give you a kidney,
absolutely,
you had to still make yourself eligible?
Absolutely.
Nah, that's okay.
When I mentioned the athlete, his relative actually died, and they wanted to take his organs, and they couldn't because he wasn't qualified. He wasn't on the list. Wow. Yeah, you have to be.
So there are over 100,000 people on that waiting list. So they are very serious.
And how many donors do we have?
And that's the problem. We don't have nearly enough donors.
Wow.
And that's why it's such a critical need. But they are serious about who they're giving that gift of life to, because there are so many people who are literally dying waiting for it.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today. This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hit me. Yeah, I love it. Right in the chest this time, T, baby. Yeah. You already know. Yeah. It's that hustler music, young music. I got that hustler music, man. So ride to it and vibe to it.
1017 The Truth.
I'm saying.
Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brothers here on the ones and twos. We got Dr. Solstice, Reverend Solstice, Professor Solstice in studio for those that don't know. Give them a little of your background and when you talk about healing and education.
So I think, I guess credential-wise, I started off. It's been a long journey, actually. I started off in undergrad studying sociology, race and ethnic studies, and then I moved. And then, at the end of undergrad, I took my first trip abroad to Vietnam. And when I got there, I had no idea. I didn't know at the time that I was on a particular path. One of my friends, long story short, one of my friends who was here in the States had passed away. She was an international student. And so then that had prompted me to go to her hometown in Vietnam to, pay respects. And then the place I ended up at, I was in a room, and their entire room was filled from wall to wall with, different Buddhist texts. And so every day for an entire summer, I was just in these books. I would go to a local cafe, read another book, going around, and then meeting new people who started to take me to various temples. And so then I started spending a lot of time at the temples with these monks and nuns, and just doing what they're doing, plants, watering plants, sitting in meditation, prayer. And so then after that, for the next 8 years, every summer and winter, I would go there and study with them in these temples and monasteries. And in between that, when fall and springs here, finished my master's, which was also in sociology with an emphasis on intersectionality, women's studies, ethnic studies, race studies. And then I went on, and college teaching as well. And then I went on to get a PhD, and that focus was on sociology, but within discourse analysis, labor, and globalization. And throughout that time, I kept up with my studies that I was prompted with the monks in Vietnam, and sometimes it also took me to Hong Kong and Thailand to study with monks there.
You been to Thailand?
Yeah, a few times. And so then, I've been teaching at the university level for 11 years now. But a year or two ago, I had, dropped it all so I can study, almost entirely on my the spiritual world. So just picked up the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, Quran, and whatever spiritual texts that I can come across, and just did a deep dive. And because I was realizing that, and this is the first time I came on your show, I was realizing that sociology, this is the way that we can really change the world in positive ways, but there's something missing here. And I was realizing that, they focus on social movements and social change, but how exactly do we do that? And how can we just do this from just a political, cultural standpoint? And so I dropped all of that and, picked up the Bible and these other texts. And I realized, there has to be a bridge between sociology and spirituality. And so we have to, when we're talking about, politics and intersectionality, we have to also bring in faith and trust and forgiveness and things like that. So since then, I've just been working on that front. I've been doing sermons around mostly the Chicagoland and doing talks with different organizations on these topics. Yeah.
Well, check this out. You were starting to say when the mayor gets on TV and talks about the parents and things like that, because I think he was trying to tell them to lock the guns up and then get your kids in order and things like when you hear these conversations. What do you have to say about political and parenting when the politics talk about the parenting? You was about to say some stuff, but we went to break.
I think, once if the political house, could really get their house in order, and we see the kind of values that you would want to implement as a family, I think then we can, maybe open ourselves up to what they have to say. But and the way that it stands, that the way our political system is, I don't know if they're the best ones to take advice from. Now, I'm not saying like individually, shout out to, Cavalier. But I am saying that, as an institution, right, who has a major impact on the family institution and all other institutions, that they themselves also have to bridge this gap of politics and social and emotional wellness, right? How often do you hear about, social emotional wellness, from a governor or a mayor or a president or something like this?
They say we need mental health. They'll just throw it off and say get counseling.
Right. And so
it's general.
Right. And so I think if they would like fund these programs and put more of these, places around the communities that actually need them and let them, run it as well, then, they may have a little bit more leverage to have some input, right? Okay. But I think just saying, hey, and of course these are basic things. Lock up your guns, obviously, right? These are basic things. But I think when it comes to like truly, talking about any values or ideas that a family should have, I think that needs to be backed up with really showing that you care, and that's by putting resources to work. Well, without resources, you just got words and not resources.
Well, we got a question in the chat. Boss Up 76 says, "What if a child doesn't want to stand in the corner or says they're not washing the dishes and start tearing things up in the house?"
What do you think?
No, he's asking you. He's trying to figure out what you got to say about that.
I think it takes a conversation, right? it takes a conversation.
Stop,
right?
Johnny.
I think, or no. I mean,
what you mean?
You have to have some authority for sure. But I think,
but you buddied it out.
Nah, I don't know if that just came from buddying it out.
You was friends.
I think what also happened is that the parents didn't model themselves, right? Cleaning the dishes when they need to clean the dishes and yada yada. They're only learning. They're learning from your behaviors,
or they don't want to accept the discipline,
I'm not. That's definitely a scenario, right? But I think if you've been with your kid for however long, little Johnny, however old he is, and you've really implemented, right, your authority, and you've really shown that you are a good example of what to live by, that situation wouldn't come in the first place.
Well, what do you do if that does happen?
I think it's a conversation.
We gonna hold on. We finna sit down and talk. You just broke up all the dishes and stuff. We finna sit here and talk.
All right. There's a plethora of
DJ
things.
Brother Z. I don't know. I might have to go in my bag after that. I might have to come. Hey, I might have to apply.
Brother Z. We ain't doing that.
I might have to apply the strategies from Mississippi. Back in the deep, dark fields of Mississippi.
Nah. I think even today, I had an example of this today, and you know, a lot of people when they come with these examples, they want to give the most extreme cases, right? And that's fine, whatever. But you know, I had an example today. My boy asked me if he can have a cookie today, and then I said, you can have a cookie after you finish the apples that were sliced up for you, right? And so then, you know, I'm sitting there washing dishes or whatever, and then he comes back and says, I finished the apples, and I'm just like, bro, you ain't finished those apples that quickly, but I'm gonna play the game with him. I'm just like, all right, you finished those really fast. You must have been really hungry, huh? And then he comes, and he was just like, yeah, I ate them all. And I'm just like, maybe we should investigate, right? And I said, do you know what the word investigate?
You need you a YouTube channel. That's what you need.
Do you know what the word investigate means? Yeah. Like, it means we're going to seek and find the truth, right? And so then, you know, we go on a little longer, and then finally he says, I threw the apples in the garbage. And I'm just like, all right, why did you throw the apples in the garbage? Because I wanted the cookie. All right. What do you think you should do next, right? He says, I should take these apples out the garbage because they're in their bedroom garbage and put them in the kitchen garbage. He does that, right? And then I'm like, what's the next thing you should do? He says, I should apologize, right? And then he goes on to apologize and then thinks he's going to get the cookie. And I'm like, no, hold on, right? Me, your mom, right? We worked hard for those. We went to the grocery store. We looked at the best possible apples we can pick out for you. That hurt our feelings, right? And it hurt our you know, this is money. This is energy. And so you have to wait, you know, for your mom to get back so that, you know, you can also apologize to her and talk to. And
it sounds like an episode of Sesame Street.
Hey, I mean, they got something, right? They've been on the air since the
I'm just saying
1800s.
I mean, hey, it sounded powerful,
right? And so, and it was right. It didn't take, and honestly, what prompted like this method was just the other day, right? There was a candle. And he tried to put something in a candle. And immediately, I'm just like, this is something that has to be shut down immediately. And so I was like stirring. I yelled, right? And I was just like, dang, you know, because I seen his spirit shake all the way up when he heard me yell. And, you know, I was just like, I could have went about that a little better, right? But because we know too that, you know, they put out all this research and saying that even, you know, yelling has just as much, if not a more negative impact, right, than, you know, physical abuse, because this emotional wellness, right, can go all the way into their adulthood as well. And so finding just better methods of handling these things, right? And so when I did this, boom, you know, I recognized that, and then I changed the method. I was creative. I was merciful, right? And not only did he figure out that he needed to put the apples in a different garbage and did it, he knew he needed to apologize and did it. He knew he had to wait for his mom and did it and apologized and he learned. And he was just like, I was like, why did you do that? He said, I didn't think I had any choice. And I was just like, you always have a choice, right? In every situation, the only time you don't have a choice is when you don't realize you have one. But there's always a choice, and they may not be the best choices that you would like, but there's always a choice.
Well, look, we gotta go to break. But I want to. How can people keep up with you? Online, social media.
Online, Instagram is what I primarily use for social media. That's solstice_of_Anahata. Solstice Anahata. On TikTok is heart heart centered. And then my website, of course, is drrevsoul.com.
Do you got any YouTube videos of you dealing with your kids and stuff like that?
Not dealing with the kids, but
what you just explained should have been on YouTube, right?
You can. It is now.
It is. We gonna clip it.
Yeah. And so, but I do have a YouTube on here as well that you can find. And from the sermons that I have on YouTube, you'll be able to implement some of that stuff in your parenting.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Look, always powerful.
Amen.
Always powerful. These are some of the tough conversations that we got to discuss. Everyday conversations when we talk about parenting, children, ideology, philosophy. It's powerful.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Dr. Solstice, for coming through this Friday. It was powerful. All right. When we come back, Truth Nation, we'll have more conversations. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
More of the Tory Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Do I dare even answer this man's call?
Sure. Are you there?
I ain't even answered the damn call yet, man. Bob, keep this on. Bob, listen to me. Keep this on the subject matter, and if you can, we can't take your call, man. You distracted.
Okay, now look. Since you don't listen to Linda about getting married, at least take that thing around your neck to push when something happens.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
Join the livest talk and text fan base in the country.
I love listening to the truth. I just love the truth. It's the best station out here right now, so I'm down with the truth.
You're the best thing on the radio, man. I don't agree with you all the time, but today I really got a Girl Scout thing, that gets to me.
I'm sipping on y'all, man. I appreciate all the wonderful things that you're doing. Congratulations on your new hours.
Keep texting, keep calling, keep being you, Truth Nation. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth. Come in with straight truth.
And to make matters even worse, Truth Nation, when you look at more numbers, there have been 59 children shot in the city of Milwaukee, and 40 of the perpetrators were also under 18. They were children. So you have almost 60 young folks here. If you go to a private school, some schools only got 60 kids in elementary school, but you're talking about maybe 3 classrooms in a middle school or elementary school worth of kids who have been shot in our city this year, but 40 of them who perpetrated the act were also children. So you're talking about 100 kids who are ruining their lives in the city of Milwaukee in 8 months. We have to be better, because when you look at the overall murder rate in the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee makes up about 50% of the total murders in the whole state of Wisconsin. But seeing young folks getting killed and young folks shooting guns is extremely troubling and puzzling to me. It should be puzzling to you as well. It's a troubling reality that we have to face in our community.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
The biggest snowflakes out here are always been the white Republicans, who are so gung-ho on protecting the feelings of white kids while they ignore the needs of other kids. If Milwaukee's youth has a problem with fighting what white youth have a problem with being destructive and offensive. So it is sad that our government is actively working to de-emphasize educating and uplifting students of color in different backgrounds on college campuses. That emphasis is going to be diminished, and the only kids that will suffer will be our kids. They were willing to hold up the advancement of the state of Wisconsin because they disagreed with DEI. What are white Republicans afraid of? Why are they afraid to face the fact that their grandmas and grandpapas were part of a system which purposely held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve? Until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. Recovering after being shot by a Milwaukee police officer on the city's south side, authorities say the officer made a traffic stop Wednesday near 12th and Greenfield when a 21-year-old man exited his vehicle and fled on foot. Officials say during the chase, the suspect dropped a gun and tried to grab it. That's when the officer fired his gun at the suspect. Police say the 21-year-old man was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive. No other injuries were reported. The 26-year-old Milwaukee police officer with over 6 years of service is on administrative leave. Microsoft plans to invest an additional $4 billion to build a second data center in Mount Pleasant. The company plans to use the facility as a distributed training supercomputer for artificial intelligence services. This brings Microsoft's total investment to Racine County to over $7 billion. Microsoft officially purchased 315 acres of land in Mount Pleasant in June of 2023. The first artificial intelligence data center is on track for completion in early 2026. The unemployment rate is holding steady last month in Wisconsin at 3.1%, staying below the national unemployment rate of 4.3%. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the state's labor force decreased by 7,100 over the month, and the number of people employed also went down by 6,000. Job sectors that saw the biggest gains were healthcare, leisure and hospitality, and administration support. This has been your news update. The Tory Lowe Show continues on the new 1017 The Truth.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth. The most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM. The movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. Stand up. It's Tory Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4. We about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice. We want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tory Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready.
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe. Tory Lowe Show, live from American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. The movement continues. The marathon continues right here on 101.7 The Truth. Thank you for joining me for the third hour of the Tory Lowe Show. And we got an update. We got an update about the couple that was charged with the 6 children found in the storage unit, they're saying without power or water. And when I was reading this story, Truth Nation, I ain't gonna hold you on it. I just was disappointed. I was disappointed because it looked more like, and I hate to even say it, it looked more like neglect. It's nasty work. I hate to do this because I was really hoping that, you know what I mean, it wasn't a case of neglect. But we got some news. When DJ Brother Z, when you get it ready, let me know. If you're watching this rebroadcast live, we got an update on this situation. Let's listen.
Youngest just 2 months old. Police today telling me that those 6 children were all homeless as they were discovered locked in a storage unit here near 27th and Silver Spring. An alarming call for service in the middle of the night.
Police are on scene requesting a forced entry. They believe baby is locked in one of the storage lockers.
Milwaukee police say they discovered not 1, but 6 children alone, locked inside a storage unit here at Store Safe near 27th and Silver Spring. Their ages 9, 7, 5, 3, 2, and a 2-month-old. Police taking 2 people into custody at the time, although neither have been charged.
To me, this sounds a cry for help, maybe. Or maybe just needed help and didn't know how to get it.
As speculation grows surrounding the circumstances of this case, 12 News has now confirmed the 2 adults in custody, a man and a woman, are the children's parents. Where they were as police arrived on scene Tuesday morning remains unclear, but MPD tells me the family was without a home.
Probably the same as everybody else's reaction. What happened? What's going on here?
12 News legal expert Craig Mastracchio says those circumstances will certainly be a part of a prosecutor's charging decision.
Does that get factored into a arrest decision and or a charging decision?
Yeah, facts like that always get factored into a charging decision, probably less so into an arrest decision. Was there a reason that's either justified or something that's sympathetic, at least, for prosecutors to consider around the facts and circumstances of the arrest?
And so, Hannah, do we have a timeline on a potential charging decision?
So as of last check, Deanna, this case, the police department's case, has not been referred or handed over to the district attorney's office just yet. So no timeline on a specific charging decision. But police do tell me that those kids, when they found them early Tuesday morning, were all uninjured and are right now in the care of Child Protective Services.
However, still
I'll say this because I still want to get the kids some resources. But when I read the article, and I read the one from CBS 58 where they said that they had access to $2,000 a month. But evictions are tough. Evictions are tough to overcome for some people. But it's almost like they were getting benefits, and they had access to money, and so they probably needed shelter. But when I look at this situation and some of the details, with the 9-year-old left with a lot of responsibility, being locked in the storage unit and having to be with the baby, the younger child, and take care of that younger child all night long. And they said that it was only a mattress, some type of cot, some soda, and some chips or something. And they were sleeping in the storage unit, and the mother and dad was sleeping out in the parking lot in the car, in the SUV. They've been struggling. I guess the The complaint says that Zelensky told investigators she struggled to secure housing for 7 years and said the family had been sleeping in the storage unit for about a month and a half. They obtained food from organizations and received WIC and food stamps, as well as $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits. I don't know. But it's tough. It's tough when evictions to get a place, but it was going to eventually, seems like the way they was living, I want to say something, but I'll say this. I'll definitely say this. I'll keep it like this. It's tough to find housing when you have eviction issues. I know that. But if you have access to $2,000 a month and some food, they got options where you could do Airbnb, small motel ideas and things like that. I don't know. It's just, were they mentally disabled? I don't know. Did they have cognitive issues going on? I don't know. We gonna head to the lines. White Widow.
Boom. How do I follow that first guy? I mean, that soft discipline, I don't know. I never got hit. The only time I got hit is when I got shoplifting in Tulsa. And my mom was embarrassed because Tulsa didn't want Milwaukee people there, and I brought disrespect on her. She slapped me in front of the cops and said I didn't raise a thief. But other than that, we got on your prayer bones in the corner where you got to sit on your prayer bones. You can't put your butt on your knees, on your heels. You had to write 500 times. You got grounded, and if they wanted to really make the grounding worse, I couldn't even sit on the porch and talk to people. But you got to start with authority and disciplinary practices at an early age. Unfortunately, I see a lot of young moms who don't want to take the time and energy, and as soon at restaurants, offices, as soon as that little kid gets out of line, guess what? Here's the phone. Here's the phone and a gadget. Also, I want to talk about the situation with the storage unit. You can't tell me any reason why. You know why? And I'm thinking back, the worst summer of my life, where my mom was gone. Anyways, they took us away from my mom. All there was sugar sandwiches. And you know what? She called. She said, I can't handle my 4 girls. I can't pay the rent. I'm not getting child support. Food stamps were around. We got Army rations. And my mom said, come and get my girls. It was the hardest summer, but, she knew. And then she fought like hell to get the girls back, get us back, and she did. But it was a horrible summer. But nevertheless, I can't accept what happened at that storage unit. No way, no how, no ever. Food stamps for 7, 8 people, you're talking about a couple grand. It's $300 a pop. WIC, a couple $100 more, $2,000 in your pocket. I ain't there. So, no, I'm sorry. I think it's a terrible situation. And, hey, 2-month-old in that storage unit, I'm not there. So you take care. Have a good weekend.
All right.
I got to tell you something, Tory. One more thing. My grandson, and I didn't agree on it, first one in our generation's first ones ever in our family, 13, junior varsity D1 football.
What?
Organized institutional. Organized institutional sports. First time in all our families, anyone. And in the last 2 summers, I watched my grandson change the discipline, the structure, the teamwork, the want to be good. Man, it saved my boy. I mean, I had to give my boy a half-hour talk about twerking 3 years ago. Elaborating that's not the best portion of a woman. The eyes are the eyes of the soul. The hands are the touches.
He was
the
mesmerized
arms,
by
the
the thighs.
I told him, I said, don't bring home any girl that twerks because Grandma's not going to play with that. No.
Hey, you got to have rhythm, White Widow. They got to have some rhythm to it. Hey, salute to White Widow. Have a fun, safe weekend. I want to read this, though. I want to go back to the storage situation. And they're saying that the storage unit, in the criminal complaint, it says the storage unit was in disarray, a section couch and a twin mattress, which 3 children slept on, was inside. The mattress had no bed sheets. There were a box of chips, milk, and a case of soda. There were no lights, electricity, or running water. The detectives described the odor of the unit as putrid and could not remain inside even with the garage door open. I don't know. You know, if they was smelling like that, if it was in that kind of condition, I don't care how poor you is, soap and water is free. You know what I mean? I don't care. My grandma said no matter how poor we may get, soap and water and cleanliness, that's on you. And I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. If y'all want to join the conversation, 833-212-1017. More information than came out about the family and the storage. They said that they obtained food from organizations and received WIC and food stamps, as well as $2,000 a month in Social Security benefits. But they also go on to say that they were struggling to get housing for a while. They were just struggling. So I just feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the young children. If you want to join the conversation, 833-212-1017. Talk to text 833-212-1017. It's deep because I know it's rough out here sometimes, especially if you get caught up in the eviction cycle, and that's been going on for a long time. I've had to get involved with a lot of things in this city, and I understand some of the plight. But I don't know. Locked and Lovely says, yeah, if you have bad credit or an eviction on your record, it's next to impossible. It's next to impossible to get rental housing. Motor Elephant said they need help. Kathy says, I feel bad for the kids. Not really a city girl in the chat says, ain't no way. I bet they were smoking weed and all day and drinking. Hey, you know, I don't know. Especially when the conditions of the storage unit is putrid and they don't have no bed sheets. I can see, okay, these kids in here, like, if this is what we got, let's get this fixed up. Let's get some sheets on, you know, let's get certain things in order, you know, but it's tough, you know, when it's dark and the 9-year-old got to take care of the young baby and have duties in the middle of the night. That's why the baby was crying. That's tough. We got Tony from Tulsa on the lines. Tony, how you doing?
Tory, how you doing this afternoon?
Blessings, brother Tony.
This is it's a really touching story, just because, you know, so many elements to the story that we don't know of, and all we can do is speculate on some of them. And it's just, like you say, it's unfortunate for the children that, you know, this isn't something that they asked for, and they're just stuck in the situation because of the two parents that they have. And, you know, we've all been through those times that we struggled in certain situations like that has transpired, and our parents are trying to do the best as they can. But, you know, unfortunately, sometimes the best is enough. And, you know, these children are going to be in the system. Hopefully, you know, because CPS does have to get involved due to treatment and the dire situation of the the living situation for the children, but hopefully they can get into some type of predicament where they can have a better home that they can go to, and the parents can try to get on their feet to save up to even get rental assistance or something like that.
Right. And they got a whole thing where the child talked to investigators. The child told the detectives, according to the complaint, he says that the storage unit, they stayed in the storage unit about 50% of the time, and is supposed to give the 2-month-old child a bottle or pacifier or pick her up when she cries. He also told officials, per the complaint, he was hungry and had no way to contact his parents or anyone else in an emergency.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. I mean, because you have this 9-year-old having to grow up way before his time just because of, you need to take care of the younger siblings. And that's detrimental to that 9-year-old. I mean, like I say, it's a lot of unfortunate situations with this whole thing,
I mean, if it was that bad, you would have thought that they would at least had the baby with them in the car.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the part that gets me to say,
child,
I'm not going to at least have the 2-month-old.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm with the whole situation, but you got a 2-month-old baby. I mean, it's not wintertime. It's not cold, extremely cold. Why are you allowing the 2-month-old child to be in there with the kids and having this 9-year-old have to get up in the middle of the night and deal with this baby like this? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
And in the middle of the night, too, like what are the parents doing in the middle of the night that you're having this 9-year-old take care of them? I can understand maybe during the day, but what was this? Wasn't this like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning?
They got 1:30. They said that when they got there, the baby was crying.
Yeah, like what are you guys doing at that point? Like one of the parents at least should have been home.
Well, this is a sad story. Thank you for tapping in, Tony. Hey, look, when we come back, we got Eddie on the lines, we got Kathy on the lines, we got some talk to text, we got some chat. We're gonna try to get to it all when we get back. Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Don't touch that dial. The Tory Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Truth fam, this is your girl, Melanie Ricks, and I want to remind you to tune into Nothing But the Truth digital show with me, Melanie Ricks, presented by Visit Milwaukee. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., a new episode drops on the 1017 The Truth YouTube page. And since it is on YouTube, I hold nothing back. I give you all my hot takes on celebrity gossip and give you the tea on relationships that you don't want to miss. Subscribe to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you never miss Nothing But the Truth digital show, dropping every Wednesday at 6 p.m., presented by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. A lot of customers might have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home. But when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Watching them work from idea to installation gives you the ability to see firsthand the care taken to ensure the Pella experience is complete. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 9/30/2025.
Looking to save on gently used kids' clothing, toys, books, and baby gear? Just Between Friends, Milwaukee County is helping families say yes. From September 18th to the 21st at Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center, shop thousands of items in one place. September 18th is pre-sale day. Pay tickets online, get first pick, plus free tickets for first-time parents, grandparents, veterans, first responders, teachers, and daycare directors. Consign your gently used items, earn 60%, and shop early with a friend. For more information, go to Milwaukee County, JBFSale.com. Families helping families.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All your favorite interviews and best moments live in one place.
You know, I'm working in the morning, and I was listening back on the Truth app.
Download the new 1017 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth. This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth. The Truth app at 1017thetruth.com.
I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Since you're pretty, soon as you came in the door. I just wanna chill, got a sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Showed her how to whip and now she remixing for Lowe.
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the ones and twos. The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School Championship football. We have a great matchup for you this Friday night as the Marquette Hilltoppers go on the road to take on conference rival, the Oconomowoc Raccoons. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Friday Night Football on The Truth is sponsored and presented by Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. We've been talking about this family in the storage unit. We got new information. They breaking it down in the chat. Y'all should salute to everybody in the chat. Y'all should be a part of that Truth Chat family because it goes down in the chat. I'm reading something right now. It's in the chat. They're saying a key in the chat says for that man to literally have his family in that situation is some little boy energy. I pray a good loving family will take all them children in their home together. Do not separate them. Anthony in the chat says $2,000 is not a lot with the current rent prices plus security deposit plus 3 times the income. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, it could get tricky. It could get real tricky when it comes to when you go bad on actually trying to find shelter as far as evictions. And sometimes they got to check your credit score too. Sometimes they check the credit score. Eddie, how you doing, brother Eddie?
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Good day, Tory Lowe. How you doing today? Friday.
Hey,
Tory.
it's Friday.
How are you and Zach?
Hey,
how are you and Zach? How is Zach, Tory?
Eddie,
Zach,
stop mentioning my name, okay? Leave me out of this. This is between you and Tory.
Zach, what's your last name?
Don't worry about it.
Hey, Zach saying he refusing to talk to you, Eddie.
Really? Is he upset with me? Have I done something? What is it now?
Eddie, what's your comment?
What is it today?
What is your comment,
Okay.
Eddie?
Here's what I want to say. This couple, and I'm not saying this to provoke anything or to be a jerk, okay? But they have some mental or psychological issues to allow this to have gone so far, okay, for the decay of the household, whatever it may be. I've seen people successfully pull off this storage locker thing, and it's kind of neat. But if they didn't have everything organized and arranged and it stunk and it was in disarray, that's a different thing. Obviously, CPS is going to have to pop in and make an assessment. That's going to have to happen. And then I think these people probably need some help. You know, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist, but maybe some kind of therapy or some kind of, you know, whatever therapists do, give out medication.
Or maybe some help to get a housing unit.
Right. You know what they have to do? They got to get these people back on track so they're able to take care of these kids, Tory. And I will say this. I think it's incredibly unfair as I grow older, Tory, that a gentleman and his buddies are screwing around when they're 18. They do something, it's a felony. And for the next 70 years of their life, they're felons and can't fully participate in life. Somebody gets evicted from his landlord, okay? And you could explain the situation, and it could be legit. And he's always, I don't have any evictions on my record, okay? Of course not. But other people have. And the idea that you're always – that mark is going to be against you. Go to any landlord, they can pull it up, right? Oh, this guy's got evictions. He might be a problem. It's just, we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater in so many situations, and a lot of it has to do with mental instability, and a lot of it has to do with youth. A lot of this stuff, the impulse control, that kind of stuff, is with younger people who don't have the social gravitas to pull off stability, let's say, in their home lives or whatever it may be. But instead of, labeling somebody a felon for 70 years or, putting these evictions on for, the rest of people's lives, there's got to be some grace, Tory. There has to be some grace. Tory, I'm an atheist, but what we need is the grace of Jesus Christ. And that's what I have to say this Friday and going on over the weekend.
All right.
So on that note, I'm going to go.
I know you're deep down, you're a believer. You just got a little jaded due to what happened with your church experience. But I know that if the wind blow the wrong way and you about to fall off the ladder, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. I know that you tap in. You kind of jump in and out, but that's okay. I understand it. Have a fun, safe weekend, Eddie. We on the talk to text. 9670 says, "Hey Tory, one, not both of the parents are white. We haven't seen a single picture if they were black. Yeah, they do have the pictures up. They're both black. They're both black. They got the pictures out. They got both of them, the man and the female, and the complaint up. So yeah." Somebody in the chat says 5027 says, "Hey, yeah, I don't know, man. They just kind of don't know about that situation. It's a sticky situation." We got people chiming in the chat. Drea in the chat says, "And you shouldn't have to make 3 times the rent either. You need a 4-bedroom. Well, that's going to cost 4 G's. I'm sorry. What did you say?" Like the pricing of a lot of these units are up. Kathy, how you doing, Kathy?
Corey. First of all, I'm just going to bless you for all the work and information you do for us. But
blessings.
I'm going to swallow this with pride on this one. I'm not trying to be funny.
Right.
I am not trying to be funny. And there's no exception for these kids, but other than, I don't know if they ever should get them back, because they're going to give them a 2-year term, and what they're going to do is take them. Okay, so you couldn't wipe the place down and clean it?
That's all I'm saying.
In a bucket of water with $2,000. Okay. The other thing, they could have begged and went to a church for help. Okay. You couldn't. The kid ain't going to school. She said for 7 years she struggled. To track 7 years, she wouldn't even had all them kids. So you have to look at yourself and say, I can't afford this. Why would I have 8 or 9 more children? I can't afford it. So I'm sure she got Title 19 medical card. She should have went to a regular doctor and maybe got her some birth control. I don't care what nobody want to comment about what I say. I know I'm right and they're wrong. I don't care what they say. You should have got some birth control. 7 years she struggled with not finding a place to rent, but she still had all these children. Have them kids adjudicated by the father, whoever they may be or not be.
Oh, wow.
But there was no reason why she couldn't keep them kids in a car with her, especially a baby, unless what somebody said, getting on drugs, going out to the casino, whatever they wanted to do. The babies and stuff that could have stayed in the car with her, or they could have went in the storage place together. That's right in there. You got $2,000. You can't go to Goodwill and get some sheets.
Oh, wow. Kathy was going in, boy. Whew. Hey, I'm hoping that we can get one of the relatives or somebody to reach out so we can see if the family can, somebody in the family. I mean, the kid's going into foster care. The parents is going into neglect court. Chrissy, how you doing, Chrissy?
Chrissy, hey, Tory, how are you?
Blessings, Queen.
Blessings. I just wanted to say that the couple years that I've been kind of talking to women and older women, younger women, to me, we don't have anyone to really teach our women. My age group, you know, my mom and dad, they kind of old, you know, old school. So my mom taught us how to take care of our children, and how my dad taught us how a man's supposed to be, you know, treat a woman. And none of the girls have that right now to be taught that. And what I've learned is, I have two boys. You met my boys, I think. They're now 16 and 17 years old. Mm-hmm. And what I've learned by that was, you know, I have a husband, and you need a man and a woman in the household, not just girlfriend, boyfriend, to show these kids to come together and raise the kids, because the mom works 48 hours, 72 hours away from these kids, and they doing whatever, but she got to survive because ain't no man in the household to help her. So I've learned through my years, I was married, my husband had a job, so I was able to actually be active and accessible to my boys. So now they turned out to be really good young men.
Puff.
So I just think that the teaching that we're seeing now they have nobody to teach them. She has probably no mother, no grandmother that'll say, hey, where are your children at? Where are y'all living at? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Nobody to give her any, you know, ideas on how she can help her situation. We don't have that anymore. No great aunties that can be like, hey, no, go get your kids, feed them, clothe them, bathe them. If you got to bring them here, then we'll find you somewhere to sleep. You know, I don't think we have that in this generation anymore. So the kids are basically raising the kids. So we're going to have enough. If they wouldn't have got caught, think about if these kids would have got grown, we would have had another small kids raising another smaller kids, and another just crazy generation that's doing crazy things right now because they have not been taught.
That's deep. But like I said, you know, this is why we have to become more resourceful toward each other. I think that we isolate ourselves now because we try to live as individuals in a community instead of living as a community and helping each other, you know, as a resource. So, like I said, we got to be about that action. And we see a lot of tragic situations like this, and we kind of try to break these situations down, but we all agree that they needed some resources. And even though they had access to $2,000 and they had food stamps, were they in a situation where they couldn't obtain housing? Hey, look, when we come back, we got Elizabeth Brown. Truth Nation, stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
The Tory Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth app and 1017thetruth.com.
Crispy chicken tenders are now at Cousin Subs. Enjoy them with your favorite dipping sauce, or try them in one of our 2 new subs, Classic Crispy Chicken or Bold Buffalo Ranch Crispy Chicken. Both served on our fresh baked bread, made with quality you can taste. But hurry, these crispy favorites are only here for a limited time. Order in store, online, or on the app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Friday Night Lights now officially lives here. 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette Hilltoppers football. Tune in Friday night as the Hilltoppers travel to take on the Oconomowoc Raccoons. Join our coverage starting at 6:30 p.m., leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And sponsored by Left's Lucky Town, C.G. Schmidt, Capital Insurance Agency, Boyle Fredrickson, Annex Wealth Management, Magic Productions, and Berghardt Sporting Goods.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Historically black colleges and universities are responsible for a lot of black professionals across industries. For example, the United Negro College Fund says that HBCUs produce around 70% of all black doctors. Data like that backs up Marcus Shaw's belief that HBCUs are key to elevating young black people into high-paying jobs. His organization, Alt Finance, focuses on sending young black talent to Wall Street. One roadblock in that pathway? Shaw says it just comes down to awareness.
For many of our students, they don't have a lot of transparency or a lot of clarity around what a career in alternative investments would look like. And so creating that exposure and some of that co-education around how to manage a career, moving from banking to private equity, is something that's very new to students.
Marcus Shaw's Alt Finance is one organization looking to clear the pathway for success for young black people. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
You are listening to The Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. I ain't got no, and no ain't got me. Let's go. I'm about to show my body. Love freak. How the is that your man? Huh? If he right here with me, turned up with my, turned up with my. Turned up in my shows, yeah, cause I got that blick. 60,000 fans can't see me do my dance. Got 1,000,001 haters, and y'all can kiss my. Turned up with my, turned up with my, turned up in my shows, yeah, cause I'm right here with me. Off a fifth of hand, getting up with my twin. Got a
101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. Joining me on the lines, advocate Arthur Elizabeth Brown. How you doing, Queen?
Salute, King. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I guess we're going to get right into it with the storage unit situation. We had a powerful conversation today, but this storage unit situation, more information that came out. What is your opinion about this?
Tragic. Again, my question would be the Social Security, is that SSI? Are there mental effects that is stopping this mother from critically thinking, or the father as well? Again, it makes no sense to lock the 2-month in with all other kids, or just lock them in totality. Because from the first story, they were stating that they were nowhere to be found, but now we have that they were outside in the parking lot sleeping in the car. It states that the children did have access, that they could have been living with family. The question is, why did they choose not to allow the children to live with the family? It's a lot of questions, but at the same time, there has to be accountability as well. Again, me logically thinking that there's no way the 9-year-old should have been left, especially with the newborn. Why lock them in a storage while you're sitting outside? Is there drug issues that's connected with this? It was very inhumane. Again, we know, me and you know especially, that $2,000 is absolutely nothing, especially for a family who would be a family of 8 when a 1-bedroom is costing $1,100. And that, too, we also know that if there's any evictions, on top of the fact they saying that, he was a felon, we also know that certain housing is not allowing you to bring that person along with you. Again, we know that there's a lack of resources all the way around the board, so I can see why she's been looking for housing that long. And then, too, when we're speaking about the story, we, meaning me and you, understand that just on the news sake, they're going to make it as egregious as it possibly can, because, again, it's their job to get us, hyped up or make it seem the worst. And in reality, we got to stop fantasizing with CPS. Because, again, I've been on the other side of that as well, working with children who were taken by NPS, and you have as well, where they're being violated in 6-bedroom mansions, where they're being sexually violated and everything looked pristine, and we acting like there's no violation going on with that. We also spoke about on the Tory Lowe show how children that were in foster care, and you can ask anybody who have survived foster care, you have some good situations, but majority of those situations are not good, and the individuals who have access to these children receive $10,000 a month, sometimes even more. When a family member take those children, they barely want to get a family member food stamps, which is also a problem, and we have to, again, there is a plethora of things that's going on, especially in my mind. However,
and one of the solutions was that we need to become foster parents as a community, so we can place our children in the care of people that look like them.
Absolutely. I would absolutely agree with you that we need to become that and cut out the $1 trillion business that is CPS, that we know have, a lot of children have been violated and living with those violations due to the fact that a lot of times social work, they will go into a house, and that's not taken away from this situation, but go into a house where a mother don't have everything, but she have the love and the substance to give her children. She just don't have the money, quote unquote. But we also know that this is a system that will take a child who is not being harmed from a mother, because we have fought for several children who was taken due to the fact of the mother, the lack of money and resources that she had, and her children were sent to somebody and they automatically gave them thousands of dollars to take care of these children, when in reverse, they didn't even want to give the mother $673. So, I mean, it's so many angles on this one story, but we have to, as a people, like you stated, as a community, we need to make ourselves available, or that's a lane that we need to go to discussing about becoming a group of people that's outside of the government, that have been trained, that have been ran through, because we see that there's a lot of violations going on with children too. So we have to vet certain people so these babies can be taken care of, and the parents can have that time to get on their feet without worrying about, them being taken from them, and somebody else benefiting off of the children, but the children never get over the violations that happen to them when they're no longer with their parents. So, again, that's definitely a lane that we need to be looking into, and we need to build resources around that, where these babies should be able to go where they are able to have a good life, because they didn't ask to be here, and that's the sad part of it. Man. But in totality, my prayers go out to the family, and especially the children, because they're going to need therapy. Absolutely.
They're going to definitely need therapy. But, when I see situations like this, it's just tough, because many times when I'm out here and families come to me on the side of the road with nowhere to go, I've had to work to create resources for families. So this situation definitely hits my spirit in a way where, what can we do? Because that's what I normally think when I see something like this. But then you saw a lot of people come to this country with no ID, with no,
talk about it.
And then they got
living
resources.
in 5-star hotels.
They was able to get access without even having a proper paperwork. But then we're living here in America all these years, hundreds of years, and we didn't even get those kind of benefits or that kind of access. So it's just tough to watch the dynamics when we are in need.
Absolutely.
Where do we run? Where do we go to? Who do we run to?
That part, especially understanding the dynamics that has taken place, and how long we have suffered on this land that we built, the reality is, like you stated, you know, it's a sad day when we're in the land of milk and honey and people are able to come here and claim whatever they're claiming and receive better benefits, better treatment, better education,
better resources
that our tax dollars pay for, while we, you know, are left to fend for ourselves. And like we stated a long time ago, eviction notice on a black woman is like a felony. So you have black women who have been evicted that is a felony for them, and black men in a place that's massively incarcerated due to, you know, the circumstances that has taken place, and they have a felony. So again, when you have mother and father, and this is a reality check for every black man and every black woman who are now both hands are tied to some extent, that there is no there's no relief for us as a whole. So we're going to have to be real resourceful within each other, because we're being shown, it's clear, because children are suffering, like you stated, who were born in this country, are homeless with nowhere to go. And we've seen this government move money, our money, and make individuals comfortable. And now we're feeding another monster, which is the CPS system, due to our lack of having certain resources. And every day we still got to get up and pay our taxes, be taxed to the max on top of the black tax, and that's a whole nother conversation. However, King, that's a lane we definitely need to be trying to create something that's going to benefit the people in our community, because clearly ain't nobody else coming. And the process is to keep us processing throughout these systems, because those are the systems that keep everybody else eating.
Well, look, when we come back, Elizabeth Brown, I want to get your final thoughts on the show today, your final thoughts on the week. Truth Nation, stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Don't touch that dial. The Tory Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's recognizing that there are people in the world that only have one word on their mind and heart when they become emotional and something happens to someone they like. They become irrational, they become fixated, and they do to others what they believe was done to them. The one thing everybody in America right now today, with the death of Charlie Kirk, the one thing they need to fear is retaliation.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas, or visit mso.org.
The Humane Animal Welfare Society, HAWS, believes in keeping pets healthy and families together. No one should have to choose between rent and veterinary care. The Wellness Clinic at Hawes Animal Shelter in Waukesha offers important basics of dog and cat care to our community. Pet owners can schedule general exams, sick visits, receive vaccinations, even get preventatives and nail trims. Appointments are available weekdays and can be scheduled by calling 262-542-8852. Contact Hawes of Waukesha today for your pet's care.
We believe that self-care isn't selfish. I'm Maddie from Sweet Talks, a women-owned and operated medical spa fostering self-love and confidence. We believe that beauty is about feeling empowered from within, and it's truly a passion for our team at Sweet Talks. Your goals are our goals. Our services go beyond injectables, including facials, lasers, medical weight loss, hormone therapy, and more. There's even a cafe, complimentary to all patients. Get started today at Sweet Talks in Menominee Falls. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Pull up to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and shoot your shot at big wins for Sweet Ticket September. Play with your rewards card for entries. Score triple on drawing Thursdays. Win slam dunk prizes like cash, reward plate, and tickets to see the Milwaukee Bucks in action. Sweet Ticket September. You ready for this? Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
.101.7 The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. Elizabeth Brown, it's been another powerful week of conversations.
Absolutely.
Hey, I guess let me get your final thoughts on the week.
I mean, again, another powerful week. The roller coaster continues. We continuing to go up, down, in the middle, side to side. You know, the conversation you was having about, you know, the children. Again, we have to continue to have a conversation about the man, woman, and child, and then the community in totality. And I'm a true believer that, you know, none of us, black folks in totality, is not a monolith. And there's certain things that work for some that's not going to work for others. You know, I would just say, you know, my thing to my daughter is, you know, as we start to get better, as we prepare for the next 10 generations, what don't apply, let it fly. Take what you felt was great, how I raised you, and make it better, you know, so we can start to weed out the weakness that is of the way we think, the way we move, just so we can start to perfect. As each generation gets better, the community become greater, you know, is my take on it. But salute to you for being that center point. Salute to you for allowing the conversations that nobody else is having. Salute to you for being the station that make us think critically, because, again, we know that the programming is set for us not to be thinkers, for us to just, you know, be the sheep and follow along, play along to get along, and in the end, everybody else wins but us. The reality is this week has taken me on a roller coaster of all type of emotions, but the main one is the ability to have love, to be humane, to see the sympathy for those that look like us, those that live inside our communities. The eye-opener for me is the ability to not only see what they show me, but also make sure I'm factoring in all sides and not just one. And in reality, no matter where we are, black, white, or other, the bottom line, if you're considered poor, you know the lack thereof and what's taking place and what we don't have access to. So the reality of that is, King, on this Friday, that we need to make sure we have what we need as a community as a whole, because nobody else is going to do it for us. So let's get it.
Hey. Elizabeth Brown, look, I appreciate you for being on the front lines as usual. And look, we got a lot of work to do.
Hey, look here. Let's get it. One love. Have a great weekend. Be safe.
All right, Queen. I'll talk to you soon. All right, DJ Brother Z.
All right, Queen. All right, Tory Lowe for Waterfall. Green don't noise me. Go. Let's get it.
All right. Salute to everybody in the chat. Powerful chat this week. Continue to voice your opinions, but also make sure that you being about that action. Salute to everybody out there in Radio Land. Let's make sure that we are safe over the weekend. Look,
otherwise you gotta make that phone call.
Otherwise, I might have to call Donald J. Trump to bring them people in. If we got a nasty weekend this weekend, I might have to pick up the phone. I might have to call the troops in. Be safe. Keep your head on a swivel. Green don't always mean go and look both ways before you cross the streets. I love you. Dr. Ken Harris up next.
Remember when it come up.